本大会開催にあたりまして総合プロデューサー聖堂会館館長石井和義より開催のご挨拶をさせていただきます。
And now tonight's executive producer Kazuyoshi Ishii。
ただいまよりサマーナイトフィーバーダイナマイト格闘技ワールドカップを開催します。以上、オス。
ボブ・サップ
From the USA, Bob Sapp.
アントニオ・ホドリゴ・ノゲイラ
From Brazil, Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. The seventh match.
Royce Gracie Yoshida Hidehiko
From Japan, Hidehiko Yoshida. The final match.
Mirko Cro Cop Sakuraba
And welcome back to Pride Resurrection, a historical video series dedicated to the Pride Fighting Championships, where with each episode, we'll take a look back at a specific event from Pride's history. And today, dear viewers, we're going to be taking a look back at Pride Shockwave 2002.
Wait, 1 second. Let me ask you this, because you labeled this Shockwave. It's not Shockwave. It's Dynamite.
Yeah, Shockwave. I'll tell you the full name in just a second.
Oh, okay.
I am the most dangerous man alive today, and you heard his voice. That's the Colombian Good Vibe.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
For those of you who might have noticed, Pride the Best Volume 2 was actually announced as our next review, but I had to scrap that due to a new copyright enforcer for Sky TV broadcast material, who is very mean and strict on content taken from any Sky TV broadcast. This includes Pride the Best Volume 1, which has been stricken from the record. It's gone forever from YouTube.
Oh no!
So if you do want to see...
The world is now worse off than it ever was.
Right. If you want to see our Missing Pride 21 review, you're going to have to go to BitChute. And I don't think we'll ever do a Pride the Best Volume 2 review. Maybe for a Legends Never Die, where I will put up a giant cock right across the screen so they can't detect it at that point. You know? It obscures the video and... we'll see.
Yes, that's gonna stop the video from being banned.
Anyway,
genius.
Let's talk about Shockwave. August 2002. Kim Jong-il, leader of the DPRK, is a desperate man, desperate for power, fame, and money. After having acquired some bombs from the former Soviet country, albeit labeled nuclear, he wants to test them to make sure that they're real. He loads the bombs on a boat and then assigns his elite North Korean special forces to sail the boat into the middle of the Sea of Japan to detonate them. After spies report this information back to the Prime Minister of Japan, it's determined that this plot cannot be allowed to succeed, and thus a counterforce of elite soldiers is chosen, loaded onto a very similar boat to that of the North Koreans, and is then sailed off in a direct course for the North Korean boat. But will they get there in time? This is Pride Shockwave 2002. Held on August 28, 2002 at the Tokyo National Stadium in Tokyo, Japan, Pride Shockwave 2002 features 8 bouts of shocking and waving action, with acclaimed attendance of 91,107 actual attendance is likely closer to 71,000, as both Pride and K1 were not shy about inflating their attendance numbers to make themselves feel better.
I mean, it still looked pretty decent crowd size.
Similar to WWE, how they sort of say there's 110,000 people at WrestleMania, and there's like 70,000, you know. So they kind of fluffed the numbers a little bit, but yeah, still, even if it was 71,000, an incredibly impressive number, and it is the all-time record for an MMA event. And during this time, combat sports MMA was a sport that was entering into an amazing period in the land of the rising sun. Tonight we'll be treated to both MMA bouts and a couple K1 bouts, and the overriding theme is Pride versus K1 for this. Also, we're watching the Japanese DVD rip of this event, which I kind of regret. Not because of quality. The quality was good.
Yeah, I mean, the
it
quality
looked
was
great.
pretty good.
And that was the big difference, because the American DVD rip I had was pure fucking shit.
Oh, okay.
It was unwatchable.
Like, I was watching it, I'm like, 10 minutes in, I'm like, they're still talking Japanese. Why are they still talking Japanese? Where's Boss? Where's Quadros?
Another thing about the American DVD rip I had, it did not contain the K1 bouts, which I don't think the original American DVD had the K1 bouts at all. So we would have only had 6 fights, and it would have been really quick.
Yeah, no shit. And the K1 fights were pretty fucking good.
So yeah, no Boss, no Quadros, and this might be a really quick review because we're not going to be talking about the bullshit that Quadros and Boss talk about. Interesting tidbit, this event was actually titled Pride Shockwave Dynamite, biggest mixed martial arts World Cup, Summer Fever Night in the National Stadium. Wisely, they shortened that for media purposes.
I mean, but that's the thing is, the entire event, like, I was so confused when you told me this was Shockwave, because as I'm watching it, everyone's saying, like, the only word you can tell is Dynamite!
Sadame is the Japanese word for shockwave. So
Sadame?
Sadame.
Sadame?
Yeah.
Sadame
But
Shockwave?
Dynamite is the K1 brand.
Oh,
they
okay.
call their big event Dynamite, or they have K1 Dynamite so-and-so.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it was like a joint, this was the only joint K1 Pride promotion.
Oh, okay.
Or event. So anything that, so that's why they use the Dynamite term there. Before we get into our event though, what else was happening in the MMA world around this time? 3 days prior to Shockwave 2002, Pancrase held their Spirit 6 event at the Umeda Stella Hall, a small venue in Osaka, Japan. This event had the sad fate of being stuck in between 2 bigger Pancrase shows, the Neo Blood Tournament of 2002 a month earlier, and the 2002 anniversary show a month after. So it's no surprise that this show featured a card chock full of young boys, fun boys, and dojo boys. It had all the boys. 7 bouts in total. The show's main event featured a good on paper matchup of Akihiro Gono taking on Osame Shibuya, a bout that really didn't live up to the expectations. It went to a draw. There really is no other bout on the card that I care about talking about. With all that out of the way, let's get into the show. Pride Shockwave 2002. Our show opens showing the enormity of the event, with people arriving at the outdoor stadium and a graphic saying that 91,107 people are in attendance.
So I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty cool that it was an open air arena, because they could do a hell of a lot of, like, the sky shots were pretty fucking cool, and you could see the entire setup. I like that. Kai Grant and Lenny Hart introduce us to Kazuyushi Ishii, K1 president and producer of the show. He says some things, then fireworks go off. Then our lead Japanese commentator comes over the speakers. By the way, that guy, who I didn't know who the hell he was, he had been in the sun a little bit too long. Like, holy shit.
The guy who first came on?
Yeah.
Ishii.
Yeah, like, he had too much of a tan. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yes. Introduces the opening ceremony as Antonio Inoki appears in the crowd with an Olympic-style torch, and then Helio Gracie appears, and they both light a giant bucket with the flame. But Pride hasn't done enough to make this seem like the biggest event of your life. As the lights go out, drums are beat, and Lenny Hart returns as the parade of fighters begins. Oh my lord, this is awesome, I said to myself. The crowd sounds crazy, and at times it's hard to hear because so much is happening.
I just want to point out, this must have been the biggest event of that time.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got Rufio to play the drums.
Rufio from
Hook?
Peter Pan Hook.
Yeah. Did you not see the guy playing the drums?
Was it really Rufio?
Well, I don't fucking know.
Okay.
Some motherfucker with the same haircut.
Who does this drummer look like? The view from the upper decks has to suck, but still, I would have gladly sat in the furthest seat to be there live. The biggest pops were definitely for Wanderlei, Silva, Frye, and Sakuraba. This leads us to the first bout of the evening, which is a squash match. One that sees reigning Pride middleweight champion Wanderlei Silva taking on jobber Tatsuya Iwasaki in a non-title bout. Wanderlei was 26 years old coming into this bout, and his MMA record was 19-3-1 with 1 no contest. Tatsuya, meanwhile, was 33 years old, and this is his first MMA bout. Guesses on how this fight goes, fight fans? Wanderlei was last seen at Pride 20, armed and ready, where he went to a draw against Mirko Cro Cop. Now he welcomes in Japanese karate champ. But just who is this Tatsuya anyway? From Japan, Iwasaki became a Kyokushin karate champion in the 1990s at the age of 21, and apparently he fought and defeated Fighting Network Rings veteran and newly acquired Pride talent Kiyoshi Tamura twice in a karate match. But take that claim with a grain of salt, as I find no supporting evidence for this and no videos. Prior to his debut against Wanderlei here, Iwasaki was offered a fight in Pancrase against Lump of Shit Sine Kakuta, but Iwasaki refused the bout, wanting a bigger fight and bigger payday. Careful what you wish for, Iwasaki, because you got it. And that brings us here to Pride Shockwave 2002. Pre-fight, Iwasaki and Wanderlei are interviewed, and I believe Wanderlei says, "I have to beat the shit out of a karate guy." Okay! We transport directly to the ring, sans walkouts, as both men are already in the ring.
青コーナー175センチ107.5キロ岩崎達也
背水の空手家魂岩崎達也復活
赤コーナー182センチ95キロバンダリーシーバー
プライド無敗の王者バンダレーシューバー
Geezer tidbit, these men were born 2 weeks apart. Iwasaki was born on June 20th and Wanderlei was born on July 3rd. Remember what I said way back when, that Pride must use close birthdays to decide matchups? Totally confirmed.
By the way, I will say this about the fact that we're using the Japanese one. A lot better graphics. A lot better fucking graphics. Especially like the meteors clashing. That was pretty fucking cool.
Yes, yeah, that is pretty cool. The crowd rises for the stare down.
大阪の信彦さんをお迎えしておりますさあいよいよ始まったこの睨み合い
And I will say before we get into this fight, Iwasaki better be a really good karate fighter. And by that, I mean literally, he better be the best fucking karate fighter ever to walk the face of the earth. Good vibe. Any thoughts here before we get into this fight?
I don't know. I think Mandel is just gonna roll this fucking thing over.
We shall find out. The bell rings. They meet at the center of the ring. Iwasaki is a bit chubby. He lands a nice body kick, but Wanderlei is already countering. Iwasaki thinks of a low kick, but doesn't pull the trigger, and so Wanderlei wades in, punches, then tie clinch, knees. Iwasaki falls. Wanderlei on mount. He pounds away at Iwasaki, who turtles up. Wanderlei times his punches. There is some drops of blood now on the mat, must be from Iwasaki. Wanderlei has his back now. Iwasaki is trying to turn, but being controlled by Wanderlei, who gets to his feet. Iwasaki tries to follow, but gets kicked in the face. He's down. Wanderlei on top in the corner, pounds him, and the ref steps in, stopping the fight. Wanderlei Silva, winner at 1 minute 18 seconds of the first round.
スリーパーを狙っていくしかしここは岩崎もこらえていますさあここはなんとかかわした左のハイキックまた回ってたんだがトライが取れたシューバが襲いかかったまたしても日本人が餌食になった
I mean, oh my god. Tatsuya just looked like a goddamn rookie here. Like, he got rocked the entire fucking time. It's like, why? Once again, guys, listeners, you know this. You know this is the kind of fight I goddamn hate. The most one-sided fucking thing. This is not entertaining. This is not a good start to this card. I'm not gonna lie. You're losing me. You're losing me here.
Yeah, karate was kind of put to bed as a legitimate fighting style after this fight. You know, you take a karate guy who's training karate all his life, and you take a good mixed martial artist, you're gonna have exactly this. The Japanese DVD is maybe more tightly edited than the American DVDs, as we briefly see Wanderlei celebrate, then he's getting his trophy, and then we're in the back as Wanderlei is heading to the locker room. Interesting choice. We are both used to the Western DVD, which takes its time in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because, like, and a little bit of a spoiler later on, So they do this whole thing where they follow the people like in the backstage, having like a talk with their trainers, which I don't know why you would do that, considering you don't have any translate. Like I was listening for it, they're not translating anything, so you're just hearing.
They're translating it for the Japanese.
No, there wasn't any.
There was
Japanese.
writing on the screen.
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You missed it. There was subtitles.
All right. I did.
There
miss
was
that part.
subtitles.
Okay, I thought there wasn't. I was like, why the hell are you even doing this if you're not translating for anybody?
Yeah, so we're used to the American DVD, which stays in the ring for the entirety of the celebration. Then we see the guys getting off the ring and heading to the back. They cut all that out, and I thought, whoa, this is maybe good because maybe we'll get more stuff, but it's only 2 hours long. They had a whole DVD to fill up, and only 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you also notice that they don't have like full any sort of intro for the fighters. They just have like a minute interview with each fighter. They don't have they don't have like the other prides had like the cutoff videos where they show the guys fighting or training or whatever. None of that. Absolutely nothing. You have a little bit of an interview straight to the ring.
Right. I think in that regard, while some of the stuff might be better on the Japanese DVD here, like the graphics and production work, I think the rest of it is not as good in terms of they don't really include more walkouts, which I was hoping for.
I know, and the walkouts, like that's the thing for this show, they did a really good job. And listeners, you're gonna see this later on when we actually do get a couple walkouts for the big fights. Yeah. They're fucking amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's balls out to the wall craziness. So yes, I agree with you. They should have had more walkouts, but maybe Japanese people don't like walking out.
That does it for this one. Good vibe. Any final thoughts on Wanderlei versus Iwasaki?
I already told you, man. I'm losing interest. This was a terrible goddamn fight.
Iwasaki must have had a big reputation in the karate world. That's the only justification for this match. I hate to be a bearer of bad news for any devout karate follower. Karate as a combat style only works in movies. In real life, karate is not practical. Maybe you can use it as a base, but you better work on boxing, grappling, and kickboxing if you want to do anything with it. Anyway, this is, in hindsight, a very bad matchup. I give it a 4 out of 10. So, what would become of our two KO Kyokushin kickers here? Wanderlei will return
Wait, 1 second. I just want to point out, you've had issues saying normal words, but that sentence you fucking say correctly.
Yeah, KO Kyokushin kickers. Yeah, I've been stumbling over my words all night so far, and we're only 20 minutes in. Wanderlei will return to Pride at Pride 23 Championship Chaos 2, held in November of 2002. There he takes on Hiromitsu Kanehara, another former Fighting Network Rings combatant who will be making his Pride debut. That fight will be for the Pride middleweight title, and wow, Pride is putting a lot of faith in these former Rings fighters. If you remember, Wanderlei previously beat Kiyoshi Tamura, who was a huge Fighting Network Rings mainstay. We'll see if Kanehara can do any better. As for Iwasaki, this would do it for his Pride career as well as his MMA career. Undoubtedly, karate as a real fighting art had been exposed, and Iwasaki knew where he belonged on the open canvas, fighting in karate point matches. I don't have much information about Iwasaki after his fight in Pride at Shockwave 2002, but I can't imagine his career went up. It likely went down. The popularity and appeal of karate exhibitions were likely suffering in Japan from the rise of MMA. Specifically the rise of Pride, and I'm sure this whole thing was an attempt to show karate was still relevant. Well, it wasn't then, it's not today. Iwasaki, I assume, decided to abandon the whole karate thing and instead enroll in a LASIK eye surgery school. We'll see you around, Iwasaki. On about 2 of the night, which sees returning Daijiro Matsui taking on newcomer to Pride, Jorel Venetian. Or Venetian, I guess. Daijiro Matsui was 29 years old coming into this bout, and his record stood at 4-9-1. Jorel Venetian from the Netherlands was 31 years old, and his MMA record was 3-2 with 1 no contest. Matsui is back, last seen in Pride at Pride 19. Bad blood. That was back in episode 22. There he fought and lost to Rodrigo Gracie via guillotine in the 3rd round. A good fight from what I remember, but one you never saw.
Okay, good, because I'm about to have some notes on this fight, and that goes against everything I've written down.
Now Matsui welcomes in a Dutch kickboxer, but just who is this Jerome fellow anyway? Born on March 9th, 1971 in the Netherlands, Jerome trained in kickboxing, but surprisingly made his combat fighting debut under the auspices of MMA at a Rings Holland event. Rings Holland, Judgment Day, on February 7th, 1999. There he fought Dave van der Veen, beating him via TKO in the second round. He came back for another go-round in Rings Holland, appearing later that year at Rings Holland. The King of the Magic Ring! Held on June 20th.
Wait, that was the name of the event?
Yes.
The King of the Magic Ring?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
The Rings Holland had the best fucking names for events. They had Heroes Live Forever. They also had Some Like It Hard. They had some great names for events.
God.
I mean, absolute killer. Whoever they got to name the events just said, fuck all with this like tough man fighting shit. I'm just going to call it whatever the fuck I want. And he just they called it the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, so King of the Magic Ring, held on June 20th, 1999. But that bout against Ricardo Yeet, Fiet, it's F-Y-E-E-T. So maybe
F-Y-E-E-T?
Fiet, Ricardo Fiet. It was declared a no contest when Jerome apparently received some kind of damage to his eyes after falling into the ring ropes in a wild fight that is a definite must-see. That event, Kings of the Magic Ring, will definitely be on cue for a Legends Never Die someday. We will see. A few months later, Jerome fought Dirty Bob Schreiber at It's Showtime, the fighting promotion's first event in October 1999. Dirty Bob KO'd Jerome in the first round. Then Jerome had a rematch with Dave V.D. Veen at Rings Holland, Di Capo di Tutti Capi.
What? Wait. Di Capo?
Di Capo di Tutti Capi in June 2000. And wow, what a fucking name for an event. Di Capo di Tutti Capi is an Italian mafia phrase meaning the boss of all bosses.
Nice.
That is a badass name.
No shit.
Di Capo di Tutti Capi. What a name. Anyway, the rematch against Dave V.D. Veen was a decision victory for Jerome. His last bout prior to Pride Shockwave here, Jerome fought Valentine Overeem at an It's Showtime event in December 2000, where Jerome fell to a heel hook. And that brings us here to Pride Shockwave 2002. Pre-fight, in a backstage interview, Matsui is shirtless for some reason. He must have just got done having sex. He speaks, and I think this is the first time I've actually fully heard Matsui talk. He has a nice, even voice, I'll give him that.
だからもうまた全く新しい気持ちで、本当初めてプライドに出た時のような気持ちでリングに上がります。はい。一本勝ちをしたいですね。はい。判定勝ちとかそんなんじゃなくて。
He should have been a voice actor. He says things in Japanese. He also has a cut on his forehead. Must have been from the sex. Right to the ring again for our Japanese DVD review. And we have our erratic, high-pitched little ring announcer. I love this guy.
鍛錬を積んでいるこの松井選手なんですが、
もう誰もいつでも試合がやりたいし、出る準備はできてます。まあチャンス、目の前にあるチャンスはいつでも掴みに行くという気持ちですよね。
はい。さあまずはグレル・ベネチアンがコールされまして、続いて松井大二郎です。静かに会場に礼をしました松井大二郎。プライドの切り込み隊長がどんな
Jerome is representing K1 for this bout. And did I mention already that this whole night is based around K1 versus Pride? At the stare down, Jerome gives Matsui a sweet kiss, to which Matsui wipes his face off. He looks perturbed as he walks away for a moment. Matsui also is left hanging, holding out his hand. Jerome tries to walk away, but the ref says no, and pulls him back in for the handshake. Jerome does not shake hands. He instead opts to give a Kim from King of Fighters esque type of bow, or Akuma from Street Fighter if you prefer. Take your pick.
さあ石井館長、この戦いなんですが、ご覧の通り約10キロの体重差と10センチの身長差があります。
そうですね。
それをどういうふうに克服してね、
はい
松井選手が攻めきるのかというところですね。
とにかくですね、ベネチアンは戦術のもう右と左があります。
Also, since this is K1 versus Pride match, it's going to be fought in 5-minute rounds. Good vibe. Thoughts before we run this fight down?
Well, whatever training Daijiro has been doing also involves mental training. You can tell because his third eye clearly is trying to open there. Giant fucking scar he has on his forehead.
The cut on his head, yeah.
Yeah, like he has a giant goddamn. How would you get a cut that big? Like really just almost across his entire forehead.
Takada must have just been beating the shit out of him. Also, what did you think about Jarrell kissing him? You caught that, right?
Yeah, I caught that. That was fucking hilarious. It always is.
At first, I thought it was an Eskimo kiss. I thought he nuzzled his nose, but then I replayed it and I seen that he like kissed him.
Yeah.
And like it's.
It's always funny when like fighters are trying to like band the fuck up and they get thrown off pace by someone doing that.
Right.
I can't remember who's the MMA fighter that does that a lot.
I don't know what MMA fighter does.
Shit. There was a compilation video. It's the same guy doing every time like at a weigh-in or something. Like they go to shake or whatever.
Let's do it. Round 1. The men's circle. Jarrell looks very tense. Matsui looks a little more loose. Both men seem reluctant to get the first strike off.
No. Now here's a question: is it just me, or does it seem like the way Daijiro is like prancing around? It looks like he's like wanting to get his ankles fucked up. Because like it doesn't seem like he's like it almost seems like he's bending them a little bit too much. He's purposely
trying to like break his ankles.
Well, I don't know, but honestly to me it seems like he's not like landing correctly. So like if for some reason he would have gotten kicked or anything, he would have gone down like a bitch. So it's like I don't understand it. And the way he's prancing around, like I think he was playing it too fucking safe. Yeah. I was like, why are you afraid of this asshole?
Matsui feints and Jarrell delivers a good body kick. Jarrell with repeated stance changes, going from southpaw to orthodox. Matsui moves in and Jarrell throws a high kick that Matsui ducks and dives. He lands right at Jarrell's left ankle, which he grabs and trips Jarrell down. Light work from both men as they move around. Matsui gets the half guard, then whoop! Jarrell sweeps him and now he's on top. He works punches, postures up, gets his arm grabbed, then stands to escape. Matsui is up too, and we're back to standing. 3 minutes down in round 1. Matsui shoots, misses, is back up, punches from Jarrell. Matsui eats a kick as he grabs Jarrell, who sprawls and lays over Matsui. Matsui bulldozes him towards the ropes. Matsui works a single and uses the ropes to trip Jarrell down to the mat. 1 minute left. In a corner, Matsui works short forearms, which I think are legal? I don't know. They're close to elbows, and elbows to the head are not legal, so a forearm, I don't understand how that could be legal.
By the way, are knees now illegal? Because I saw a couple fighters in a chance to be able to land some knees, like when the fighter was on the ground, and they just didn't.
So typically the knees would be legal unless it's a 10 kilo weight disadvantage. Mm-hmm. Then a fighter who's lighter can opt to disallow knees on the ground.
Okay.
But I think the knees, a lot of these guys like Jarrell here are potentially missing opportunities to kick on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, because maybe they don't know or they're not sure. Anyway. Matsui works short forearms, which I don't think are legal. He tries punches, then the bell rings, ending round 1. The Japanese DVD has cut out the round break, at least for this fight, and I think for all future fights.
Yeah, no ring girls, guys. I was saddened.
We get like 5 seconds of the round break, and then it's the next round is starting. So.
By the way, I want to point out, and I want to congratulate Daijiro on making and looking like a great fucking punching bag.
He's kind of good at that, you know? Have we noticed before that he's good at getting punched?
He's really fucking good at this.
Round 2, the men feint jabs. Matsui dives for the ankle of Jarrell, misses. Jarrell throws a knee. Later, Matsui tries again for the ankle, gets it, and takes Jarrell down. He's in guard, and he works some punches. Jarrell tries to tie him up. Into the corner, light work from Matsui. Almost at the 3-minute mark, he positions for an ankle lock and falls back to the mat. Jarrell just gets up, smacks Matsui, who still hasn't let go of the ankle, but then he does. Jarrell on top delivers a couple punches, then he's up. Matsui's still down. Jarrell thinks of a kick, then Matsui's back up. 1 minute left now. Matsui dives for the right ankle of Jarrell, snags it and takes him down against the ropes. Time is winding down.
I mean, why is Matsui taking him to the ground? He's doing shit in the ground. Like he's not being able to do absolutely anything. I don't know. I don't know why he keeps trying to take him down when he's not actually utilizing that for anything.
Takada Dojo motto. Come wrestle a dude. Where was I? Against the ropes, time is winding down, and the round ends here with nothing really happening. Good vibe thoughts so far on this match?
I hate Matsui so much. I'm starting to hate him about as much as I hate Takeda. I'm not gonna lie. It's just
that's a little.
But it's boring ass fights. Like honestly, like it's just my brain is like, hey, every time you've seen this guy, it's been hella long fucking boring ground fights where he does shit.
So I agree with you, but I guess I have a soft spot for Matsui. I understand he's stuck at the Takada Dojo. He's not really improving. I think Sakuraba at the Takada Dojo probably sticks to his own training stuff and kind of keeps to himself maybe. I don't know how much Matsui is learning from Sakuraba.
Nothing.
But he's clearly learning a lot from Takada.
Which is a shame.
So I think if Matsui went to another gym, he left the Takada Dojo and went to shoot box maybe and say, hey, Wanderlei, let's be buddies and let me come over. I think he could probably improve. Anyway, let's finish this one up. Round 3. Matsui flies for the legs, gets stuffed, nearly gets kicked on the exit. Then he flies in for his pro wrestling drop kick. Shame it missed. He's on the mat with Jerome all over him, but Matsui is a quick little sucker as he finds an opening to stand up.
Oh, by the way, I will point this out. Even though the announcers are Japanese, you can tell this is a boring fight because you can tell that they're doing the Boston Quadro thing, that they're just talking about random fucking shit. Because you even tell it in their tone of voice and everything.
石井さん、高田さんの解説ですが、お二人の言ってるような、セコンドからの声となっているようです。
サイド移行しましたよ。
そうですね。
What random shit do Japanese commentators talk about?
I wonder. It's like, when is the next time Godzilla's attacking?
Right.
Yeah. When are we going to the karaoke bar? Right. Shit like this. But you can tell because they started electric like they did every fight, and then into the first round they're like, you can tell it's like and we're talking this, and then something almost starts to happen and they're like oh, and then nothing happens and they're like, okay, so back to whatever inane shit we were talking about.
Yes. He's a quick little sucker as he finds an opening to stand up. He fakes a takedown, then fakes a punch and shoots, gets a leg, but Jerome sprawls. Jerome goes to stand, but Matsui rolls. Jerome kicks him. Matsui stands up. The men trade punches. Matsui shoots, dodges a kick. He's back up. He shoots again, and this time he gets Jerome down. He's on top and guard. Persistent little fella, isn't he? Matsui is in half guard, really just holding Jerome down here. But at the 3-minute mark, Matsui passes the mount. Jerome bucks. Matsui has developed a cut under his left eye. I'm not sure what it's from. Matsui punches and then goes...
I think it was from one of the kicks, honestly. Like, he got kicked in the face really hard.
I think they replay it at the replay, and I think I do mention that. Matsui punches, then gets pushed off. Matsui leaps into the air for a stomp, but gets deflected. Jerome is up. Matsui is still on the mat. Then the ref stands Matsui up, who takes a bit of time to fix his wedgie. 2 minutes left. Matsui dives for the legs, dodges a kick, then tries again. Eats 2 kicks this time, then dives once more.
He's just such a good punching bag.
Jerome sprawls were pushed into the ropes. Minoru Toyonaga makes an appearance outside of the ring to keep the fighters inside. Jerome punches Matsui's body. We're down to 1 minute now. About 15 seconds are wasted as the ref implores the fighters to move, but they don't listen. Finally, they are repositioned. The fight is restarted, with the time not restored. Elbows to the body from Jerome, who then pushes away and misses with a kick. Punches from both men. Matsui dives down and misses. A kick from Jerome deflects off the top of Matsui's head. He grabs the leg. Jerome sprawls, more elbows to the body. Jerome pushes away. Matsui stands, and then the bell rings, ending our fight. One last replay shows a kick to the face landing on Matsui that caused the cut, so now I know where it came from.
Yeah.
Hard one to judge, I would say. But
what? How is that a hard one to judge? No. I'm telling you right now what's going to happen is Matsui's a piece of shit, boring-ass fucking fighter, and he better lose this one, is all I'm saying.
We shall see. Let's head over to the judges to learn our result, which is...
Judge battle. Judge Matsui.
Jerome Venetian, victor via split decision. Matsui looks unhappy with that. It was close. I would have given it to Matsui.
What?
What? He had a couple.
He was a glorified punching bag.
But he had top position quite a bit. He was
doing nothing with it. I mean, like literally nothing with it.
But I guess I kind of like Matsui. Good vibe. Your thoughts on this fight?
Matsui can suck balls, man. I like I said, I'm starting not to like him. He tries for the groundwork, and for as much as he tries for the groundwork, you would think he would improve on his groundwork, but he just barely does anything. Like, and he does some love taps as far as fucking hits goes, and can't fucking pull off a goddamn grapple to save his goddamn fucking life.
You're gonna find this hilarious. What I wrote here. I say it was an okay fight. It stayed active. I like Matsui. I would say Matsui has improved quite a bit from the first time we saw him. But hearing you talk has made me realize the error of my thinking.
Okay. I'm glad I've convinced you.
I think he's actually has gone backwards. I think he hasn't improved. Because and just hearing you shit on the fight is making me like, he's right.
Yeah, I am right. Because you see the son of a gun, and he's just shit.
I put here, Matsui has improved quite a bit from the first time we saw him, but he's still not that great of a fighter. He could be better with different training. Takada Dojo does him disservice. Anyway, I give this bout a 6 out of 10. So what would become of our two sliding sliders here? Matsui will next appear in Pride at Pride, The Best, Volume 3, held in October 2002. There, Matsui takes on Rory Singer, at the time a still young MMA fighter with a record of 3-2, who would later go on to appear in The Ultimate Fighter Season 3. Rory makes his one and only appearance in Pride at Pride, The Best, Volume 3, a show we will likely not review due to Sky TV copyright bots.
Goddamn Sky TV.
As for Jarrell, he'll next appear at Pride 23 in November 2002, where he takes on Hirotoka Yokai, undefeated Japanese judo fighter, formerly a pro wrestler, who will be making his Pride debut. Should be a good fight, I hope. We'll see you boys then! The next bout of Pride Shockwave 2002 sees the return of Big Daddy Gary Goodridge, who will be taking on Lloyd Van Dams. Gary was 36 years old at the time, and his MMA record was 16-13-1. Van Dams, meanwhile, was 30 years old, and this was his debut MMA bout. Gary returns. Also, before I get into it here, Gary Goodridge hasn't been on Twitter since January.
Really?
He's not posted anything. I'm kind of concerned. I might tweet at the Hammer. Mark Coleman. He's active on Twitter and he responds. If you want a great follow, go follow Mark Coleman.
Not only that, he does the voiceover. Like if you pay him, he'll read whatever.
Yes.
So what episode was that? Remind me.
That was like 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
2 episodes, but we're gonna do it again for when he fights Don Frye.
Nice.
So we'll get him again. Anyway, Gary was 36 years old. I already said that. Gary returns, last fighting at Pride 21, where he beat Ahmed Labasana via split decision. Now he welcomes in a Dutch kickboxer. But just who is Lloyd Van Dams? Lloyd Van Dams is a kickboxer who made his pro kickboxing debut at Battle of the Best tournament held in Den Bosch, Netherlands in May of 1997, winning the tournament with 3 victories, including one against Pedro Hizo. And you ask me, Pedro Hizo did kickboxing? Yes, apparently he did. In 1999, Van Dams would debut for K1, but before that he would get notable victories against Dirty Bob Schreiber, twice in fact, and once against William von Rossmalen, whom, if you recall, had a kickboxing bout against Ralph White way back at Pride 2. Remember that one? I think his son just signed with Bellator, Rossmalen's son. That is.
Oh, really? Interesting.
You say that so convincingly.
Thank you.
Though Van Dam's acting, that's right. Though Van Dam's record prior to his K1 debut was near perfect with only 1 loss over 11 fights, once he got into K1, the increased competition made his record suffer, and he would lose as many fights as he won, with tough defeats against Ernesto Hoost, Mike Bernardo, and twice against Alexei Ignashov, the Belarusian kneeing machine. While in Japan, 18 days prior to Shockwave here, Van Dams fought Lechi Kurbanov at a promotion called Ichigeki, where Van Dams lost via decision. And that brings us here to Pride Shockwave 2002. Pre-fight, both men give relaxed interviews. In the case of Goodridge, very relaxed.
I like his plan. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
It's like his plan is I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy. I'm
Right.
like, solid plan there, Gary.
Not sure what Van Dam says in his interview, but Goodridge says his ideal way to win the fight is to take Van Dam's on the ground and just beat him. Just a total beatdown. He wants to dismember his body parts, Goodridge says.
My ideal winning pattern is to take him on the ground and beat him. No submissions, just a total beat down. I want to dismember his body parts and put arms over there, legs over there, head over there. That would be ideal.
Van Dam's looks very smart in his dark navy blue trunks. I like the gold trim. Nice combo. Goodridge has on long bicycle trunks, and he has big Tom Erickson and Mark the Hammer Coleman in his corner. Minoru Toyonaga is our ref. He looks very small in between these two burly men.
By the way, the moment I saw these two guys right next to each other, it made me realize something. This is like Gary fighting his evil clone. Because, you know, the other guy looks a little bit like him, but has that little, like...
defect, you know?
Goatee kind of thing that marks him as the evil one, clearly.
Right.
So I was like, oh my god, it's Gary fighting his
or, you
evil
know, like
clone.
a clone is always just slightly worse in some way, so you can tell, like, there's...
Yeah.
The clone didn't go exactly
Yeah, but I
right.
saw that, I'm like, oh my god. The Attack of the Clones.
Any other thoughts before we run this fight down?
Nothing, man. I'm very surprised because they are very, very similar to each other. You know, even like the physical build and everything. So this is gonna be a good fight.
All right, let's do it. Round one. Gary charges straight forward and is embraced by Van Dam's, who pushes Goodridge into the ropes. Goodridge tries to readjust, then manages to reverse the position, but Van Dam's must be strong because he pushes Goodridge towards the center of the ring. So Gary reasserts his authority, pushes Van Dam's towards the ropes again, then spins him down with a big slam.
グッドリッチ選手が相撲でいうもろ出しですね。もろ出しの状態、腕が効かない状態になっていますね。
合力で締め上げて今から投げる体勢じゃないですか。
はい。さあそして高田さん、そして
Goodridge winds up in side control. He tries to work some punches, getting encouragement from his corner. Van Dam's is doing his best to defend, but he's in a bad spot here. Blood is flowing from Van Dam's nose, and Goodridge keeps grinding, and Van Dam's looks in distress. Lack of experience here is really hurting him. Pretty hilarious moment as Goodridge looks right at the camera as Van Dam appears to fish hook him. At the same time, Goodridge exaggeratedly yells.
この方が対応できますね。これはサイドでしょ。
横の状態ですからね。さあロイド・バンダムがもうすでに第1ラウンド。
Yeah, it was. You could tell it didn't actually affect him that much.
Right, I know, but it was still hilarious as he's staring right in the camera and he goes, "Ah." It happens again, and Goodridge's yelling just made me laugh out loud. It was so funny. 2 minutes left in the fight, and I'm assuming Van Dam's is finished here. He's taking lumps, not moving at all, has stopped trying to tie Goodridge up, and he's just become a turtle lying on its back. Goodridge moves into mount and is ready to dismember Van Dam's now. Goodridge looks to the ref to say this guy is done, then begins to pound away. Van Dam turns away, and the ref flies in to stop the fight. Gary Goodridge, winner via TKO at 3 minutes and 40 seconds of the first round.
The good clone wins.
スーパーマンのマーク、左手には合力。どちらの腕でも恐ろしい。剛腕がうなる。国立に響く旋律の音。さあ上から横から右手。聞いてますよ。右手を聞いてるこめかみに入ってる。
The good clone wins, that's right. Goodridge celebrates, and we actually get to see more of the celebration here. Then follow Goodridge to the back, getting to hear some of the conversation.
I feel very good. How long was it?
Nice foul, nice foul.
3 minutes and 30-some seconds.
Yeah.
Good show. He was taking a beating. He didn't think he wanted to quit, but he was taking a beating.
He wanted to quit. Corners didn't want him to quit.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Pretty cool. Good vibe. Your thoughts on this matchup?
You know what? It was kind of surprising to me because, like I said, they looked very physically similar. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was gonna be a much closer match and a much longer match, honestly.
Right.
But apparently, just Gary overpowered him really fucking early, and it was crazy to see. Yeah. I liked it. I'm not gonna lie because, like I said, it looked to be even. Just you know, I think it was lack of experience. He got gassed out, just like we've seen Gary do earlier in the early prides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Van Dam's has a good size and is likely strong. Unfortunately, he has no experience in this realm of fighting, as shown by his utter lack of movement or defense on the bottom. He shelled up, stopped reacting, and just let himself get beat up. Good performance by Goodridge, who made good on his prediction. I give this one a 7 out of 10. So what would become of our two damn dukers here? Gary Goodridge won't be back in Pride for a year. He'll return at Pride Total Elimination August 10th, 2003, where he faces Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor may or may not be the Pride heavyweight champion at that time, and the bout against Goodridge may or may not be a non-title bout. Between then and Shockwave 2002, Goodridge would more seriously focus on kickboxing, fighting in 4 K1 bouts. I guess K1 was offering more money or more opportunities? I don't know. We'll have to ask Gary. As for Van Dam's, this would be it for his Pride appearances as well as his MMA career. He would return to kickboxing, fighting in the sport up until 2010, having a good second half of his career, losing only twice with 14 wins and 2 draws. Immediately after Pride Shockwave 2002, he would rip off 6 straight wins. He once fought Anderson Silva, of all people, in a kickboxing bout in 2009 in the Netherlands. And you ask, Anderson Silva fought kickboxing? Yes, apparently he did.
Everybody wants money.
And that's all. Yeah, that is true. And that's all I have to say about Lloyd Van Dam's.
I'm very excited about the fight, and I want to make it the best.
So, do you think the fight is going to be like a quick finish, or seems like a one round fighting?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm always. My determination is I hate to lose. I don't like to lose. And that's my determination. I like to fight, but I hate to lose, and that's why I always want to win.
It's a kind of step.
Of course. I mean, the main goal will be the Grand Prix from the end of the year. And so this fight is just another step back to another step forward to that goal. Yeah.
The next bout of Pride Shockwave 2002 sees the long-awaited return of kickboxing to Pride. I know you've wanted to see kickboxing come back ever since Pride 2.
So here's the deal, dude. You didn't tell, like listeners know that Most Dangerous Man Alive has probably seen parts of these and whatever. But he gives this to me and I've never seen these before. So as I'm watching this, I have no warning whatsoever. So I start watching this fight and I'm like, something seems different. And I'm like, those gloves look different. The rules feel different. Yes. Like I have like no goddamn clue what is going on.
Speaking of which, did you see that there's a classic MMA revival for you to do on the flash drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta finish it.
Oh, you gotta finish it?
Yeah.
Have you started it?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a troll. You watching, like, did you kind of get that when you first press played?
Well, you do realize I got that when I saw your fucking comment on YouTube about it being a troll, right?
Oh, okay, you saw that?
Yeah, of course I saw that. I commented on it. I'm like, are you aware I can see these? But I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway.
And what did you think when it first started playing? And you saw it's
here's the deal,
on a fucking alley in Brazil.
Well, here's the deal. I was surprised because the first time I did a classic revival, you trolled me in a lot more subtle ways. Like you gave me the notes, and then it's like it was the no blah blah blah, and then it's like just kidding, don't read this. And I'm like, I'm reading these as I go along for the first time, and I'm like, oh, god damn it, what an asshole.
But did you get to the part where they're fighting in the office area?
No.
Okay, there's a hilarious thing. Anyway, yeah. Where was I? The return of kickboxing at Pride, as we're treated to the first of 2 bouts that are fought under K1 kickboxing rules. And the first sees Semmy Schilt taking on legendary kickboxer Ernesto Hoost. Semmy was 28 years old for this bout, and this was his second kickboxing bout, his record being 1-0 in kickboxing. Ernesto Hoost from the Netherlands was 35 years old, and his kickboxing record at the time was listed at 86, 16, and 1. Schilt appears outmatched.
It was really funny because, like, the first camera shot when they're both in the ring, I thought it was a camera angle playing tricks on the fact that I'm like, dude, this gotta be camera. There's no way this guy's giving up that much height, that much reach. And then the fight fucking starts, I'm like, oh, he fucking did.
Yes. Well, these kickboxing matches, I'm not going to do full histories for the K1 fighters coming into Pride. Ernesto Hoost definitely deserves it, but really, since these guys are pretty much one-off appearances in Pride, as the Pride and K1 partnership would quickly dissolve after this event, and they would never co-promote another event again, I think it's okay if I just not do full histories for these guys. This is truly the end of kickboxing in Pride, I promise. Hoost, I do give him a short history though. Hoost is a multi-time kickboxing champion, beginning his career as early as 1983 in the Netherlands and holding multiple titles in WKA, that's World Kickboxing Association, and K1. He also has a K2 championship. What the hell is K2? Well, it's a synthetic marijuana that you can smoke.
It's a junior K1.
It's also K1 kickboxing, just with a 2 instead of a 1. The K2 version of K1 was only used for about a year. Not sure why they did it, but his K2 championship came after he knocked out Chanpyuk Kyatsangrit, the White Elephant, whom savvy Pride Resurrection viewers will remember from our review of UWF U Cosmos years ago. Do you remember?
Fuck no.
You don't remember Chanpyuk?
No.
Okay.
Should I? Wait. Was that the guy dressed up in like Muay Thai clothes?
Yeah.
Okay, then yes, I do remember.
Yeah, Chanpyuk.
Yeah, okay.
Semmy Schilt, whom you would think that, or you might be thinking of Alex Stiebling now.
No. We're talking about the special event that we did.
Yeah.
And there was a guy showed up in class.
You do remember? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I said I remembered. Wow, way to fucking down me, asshole.
Semmy Schilt, whom you think is a natural for kickboxing, is only marking his second pro kickboxing bout with this fight. Schilt, who was a karateka in his childhood, seems built for kickboxing with his length and size.
Shit.
But we'll see how he handles himself against one of the true legends of the sport. A battle of the Dutch it will be. Also, tough challenge for Schilt. Your second kickboxing match is against a world-renowned champion. We'll see how he handles himself. Blimpy Boy provides us a shaky view of the stadium.
You see the circular pattern on those fields? That's from central pivot irrigation.
Wow.
Now let's see what's happening at the Super Bowl.
Oops, sorry.
And still no walkouts. Hoost is introduced first as Mr. Perfecto. Shitho is Semmy Schilt.
ただいまより第4試合を行います青コーナー195センチ 102.7 キロアーネストハースト
ミスターパーフェクトアーネスト・ホースト
赤コーナー211センチ122キロセイム・シュルタ
プライドの大巨人セイム・シュルト国立はこの大きさの男を知りました
Good vibe. Any thoughts on this before we run this kickboxing?
Damn right. You know what?
Shit.
I was gonna say it's the first time, but you already ruined it by saying, who does this drummer look like? Rufio. So clearly, this is now the second time this episode that we're going to play, who does he look like? And by the way, listeners, if I've said this before, I have no fucking clue. But anyway, close your eyes, listeners. Just close your eyes. This one takes a little bit of imagination with you. So imagine you take Ivan Drago from the Rocky movie, and you put him in one of those old school torture machines that stretch people's limbs. And that's what Semmy looks like. Like I was like, as the fight progressed, one of the notes as I made is like, I was like, oh, this palm tree motherfucker, because he's tall, fucking lanky, right. And then I'm like, oh man, this fucking lanky version of Ivan Drago. I'm like, oh, I gotta do that in the beginning now. Double. Oh, who does this fighter look like? Another requiring you to close your eyes. You ready? You ready? So, listeners, I want you to close your eyes, guys and girls. Now, think Phil Lamar if he had done a lot of steroids and got himself really fucking buff. So here's a funny story about this one. I had someone else in mind. I could picture this actor, and I had him in my head. And I couldn't picture his name, and I couldn't picture any fucking movies. I just knew I've seen this fucking actor before. He existed. I had no fucking clue. And I'm like, okay, if I can't figure out a name, can't figure out, I have no way to fucking look this up. So all right, so let's settle for a second place. I'm like, who does it look like? Who does it look like? And then it hit me. It's like, oh, it looks like Phil Lamar if he did a lot of steroids.
Oh, let's do it. Round one. Schilt manages to back Hoost up with a push kick into the corner. He throws some punches, clinch, and the ref breaks them up. More kicking from Schilt as Hoost is on the defensive.
But I mean, for his legs, I'm not gonna lie, like they didn't, his kicks didn't really have that much power behind him.
No, and
I don't know if he was just testing it out.
His kicks were more of positional. Like he's throwing out that push kick. It's not really meant to land or do damage.
Yeah.
He's throwing it out there to move Hoost, which I think he was really successful at, not doing damage.
Yeah.
I guess you could give him an excuse saying, well, he wasn't out to do damage. He was out to move him. And if that was his strategy, it was working, I guess. Hoost is on the defensive. He's working that push kick a lot, is Schilt. Another clinch and separation. Hoost tries some punches, but can't get inside of Schilt's long-ass arms. They clinch, and Schilt delivers a knee. Hoost again with deflected punches, but ends with a good leg kick. Then another kick from Hoost, and Schilt clinches. More prodding kicks from Schilt, then clinch. Schilt keeps pushing with his push kick. Hoost tries to counter. Hoost comes forward with punches, clinch. Schilt tries a knee. Okay, kick on the exit. More kicks from Schilt, pushes and knee. They mix it up. So far, a good fight. Messy Schilt clinch, then the bell rings. Schilt controlled that first round with Hoost backing up 90% of it. I do these rounds pretty quick.
I noticed that.
Do you?
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, like, the second round 2 starts. By the way, I was very surprised because, like, at the end of round 1, I could tell, like, Semmy was fucking exhausted. He looked really fucking worn out. And then all of a sudden, round 2 starts, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I don't know if he did cocaine in his corner, but, like, he just comes back full fucking blowing out. It's like, holy shit.
Round 2, Hoost comes forward, mostly missing. Bad clinch from Schilt in the corner allows Hoost to reverse and get some shots off. They exchange punches. More exchanging, but not a lot landing. Nice long jab from Schilt. He should be doing that a lot more. Good leg kick from Hoost at the 125 mark. Both men looking winded. Schilt keeps kicking. He should be jabbing more. Hoost gets off a good punch that gets a rise out of the crowd. Then a good 1-2. Clinch ends the round.
You know what? It's kind of weird because, like, I would honestly, like, towards the beginning and like the end of the first round, I would have given it to Hoost easily. Like, he was dominating, and then, like I said, beginning of this round, like, Semmy, I don't know what the fuck his corner told him. It's like, you win this, we buy you the best hooker you can think of.
Yeah.
And because he, like, fucking got back in the match. It's like, holy shit, dude.
Round 3, it's like Groundhog Day. Schilt keeps pushing forward with kicks. Hoost mostly retreats with occasional counters. Schilt pushes Hoost into the corner, leans on him. Ref breaks it up. Schilt looks out of breath. There is a cut check on Hoost, who has a slice right under his left eyebrow. The fight resumes. They clinch again, to which the ref says, not too much clinching, okay?
さあシルトが行く。やはりここもシルトが行きます。クリンチたまらずホーストがクリンチをしていきました。
Nice trading as
this is about when I started wondering. I'm like, I don't think this is a full MMA fight.
When the ref says, not too much clinching, okay?
Yeah, I was like, wait, there's been no grappling now that I think about it.
Nice trading as there is a kick from Hoost, counter from Schilt, punch from Hoost, and counter punch from Schilt. Hoost lunges in for a straight and he gets clipped. Goes to one knee, but the ref counts it as a slip.
逆にあっと、体勢大丈夫か。 大丈夫。はい。
今左のボディーブローに変えましたね。
なるほど。
I think Hoost was rocked, and on him standing, he looks wobbly. Still, Hoost fires away on the restart. Clinch against the ropes, and Schilt musters an okay knee. Then a punch. More clinching, followed by clinching, then clinching. Hoost looks tired.
He looks exhausted. Like, at this point, I think he's just using Semmy as a goddamn, like, standing pole, like fucking crutch to keep himself up.
Yes. He flies in for a left, then the bell rings. Any thoughts?
It's been a good fight. I'm not gonna lie. Like I will say this, that the more I think about it, the more I like these kickboxing fights, because they don't have that chance of nothing but lazy groundwork. You know, you have to be active. You have to keep hitting, and so far these two guys have been definitely going at it. It's been actually pretty even.
Oh, I didn't mention this, but the K1 fights here are fought in 3 5-minute rounds. So round 4. I watched this round in double speed under the assumption it might be more of the same. The men trade quite a bit in the beginning, 30 seconds, more clinching. Hoost gets off a good leg kick. Schilt pushes Hoost down. Schilt keeps pushing forward, more clinching and more clinching. Nice hook by Hoost, down to 1 minute. Kicks from both men in the corner. Schilt lays on the knees. Hoost keeps backing up. Schilt is all over Hoost. Clinch, end of the round. Final round, here we go. Schilt pushing forward into the corner. Hoost sneaks away and they clinch. Don't hold too much, says the ref.
放送です。右からフックを打っていきましたが、これは空振りになりました。
Yeah, he was like he, at this point you could tell he was just trying to stay like up, just doing whatever he could.
Nice body kick by Schilt. Clinch and knees. Breaking punches. Hoost still backing away. More clinching. Both men are tired. Hoost just surrenders against the ropes. Schilt knees him. Another clinch against the ropes and more around the ring. High kick attempt by Hoost. Down to the last 30 seconds. Some punches from Hoost, then clinch, and nothing else really happens. Bell rings. Our K1 kickboxing bout is over. This was 90% Schilt working and controlling the fight. We'll head to the decision though, which is...
判定の結果をお伝えします。ジャッジ競技50対50ドロー。
まずはドローです。
ジャッジ大成49対49ドロー。
ドローですね。
50対50ドロー。ドロー。
Unanimous draw? What? What the fuck? No. This must be a mistake. Here, I'll fix it for you, fight fans. Unanimous decision for Semmy Schilt. Fuck you, judges. Fuck your asses. Schilt won that fight, no question. How could you make it unanimous draw?
Because of the, like I said, first round and a half, Schultz wasn't really doing much.
He was doing all the work.
No.
90% of the fight, he was moving forward and pushing Hoost around the ring. Hoost barely got off a shot. I would look at the numbers and say that Hoost maybe landed 9 strikes in the first round.
I don't know. Like I said, towards the end of the second round, Semmy was just exhausted, and you could tell. And he got back up and everything, but I see the draw. I see where the draw call comes from.
Well, all right. Schilt is headed to the back. Doesn't look that upset. Can't understand his cornermen, but I'm sure they are bitching about the decision. Then it's time for the next fight. Good Vibe, your thoughts on this travesty? I was fucking pissed when I wrote this.
Well, I didn't see it as a travesty. It was, like I said, it was to me a good fight. And it was weird because, like I said, I thought, Semmy was not doing that much. Well, I wouldn't say he wasn't doing that a lot. He wasn't doing that much. I thought he was getting overpowered in the first round, and then he came back up. So I thought it was a good fight. I was glad that it made me like kickboxing fights again.
well, K1 kickboxing.
Yes.
Not the shit that Pride had in the beginning.
Well, I mean, that was Pride trying to figure out what the
Here, you know, I'm not so angry now, like days later after writing this, but I'm really angry in my notes here. I say, fight fans, just rewatch this entire recap I just did and tell me, with Hoost backing up almost the entirety of the fight, barely landing a punch, that it was a draw. This was Schilt all the way, and this was a bullshit K1 judging steal. They should have just been real fixers and called the fight in Hoost's favor. I give this fight a 4 out of 10, but I give Schilt's performance a 7 out of 10.
Dude, have a Snickers.
That's interesting you say it, because what I call the fighters here rhymes with Snickers. So what would become over 2 click-clacking kickers here? Hoost would return to K1, logging 2 straight losses to Bob Sapp. He would eventually rematch Schilt in 2005, defeating him via TKO due to retirement, so Schilt gassed out again. He would fight in K1 until 2006, then seemingly retire, until returning in 2014 for a duo of fights. As for Schilt, he'll be back at Pride 23, where he takes on Minotauro Nogueira. We'll see you then, Schilt.
Welcome to intermission.
All right, fight fans. For this intermission, we're going to be playing a game I haven't played. I've played a version of this game, but I haven't played this specific version. It's Samurai Shodown 5 Special Edition, which I think is pretty different, significantly different than Samurai Shodown 4. I better turn this down because it's kind of loud. I'll turn myself up a little bit. I'm a big fan of the Samurai Shodown series. Played a lot of Samurai Shodown 4. But I've never played this version. Haven't played a whole lot of Samurai Shodown 5. So we're going to check it out. This game came after Playmore had purchased SNK, or as I call them, Sync. And honestly, the Playmore releases of the SNK Classic game series always felt like they were somewhat like copy and paste cash-ins. I could be wrong. I will say the presentation so far of this one looks pretty good. We got a bunch of new characters. Mostly this bottom row looks like new characters. This guy's new, that girl. I think that's a boss from number 3, maybe. This girl's new. That's Remy Ruru. He's newish. He's just a color copy. New guy. Here, I will play... not Hanzo. Haru. Hanzo is the ninja, who I like. And this is a returning character. This looks like a new stage. So we're going to gauge the quality here of this Playmore release. I don't know if they had the original guys that made Samurai Shodown 4, or if they had all moved on. But sometimes, like I said, the Playmore releases, especially like Metal Slug 5, just felt like a copy and paste cash-in with minimal new content, and the new content that was added was kind of cheap. This stage looks okay, except I don't know what's going on here with this palm tree and bushes. It just looks very cheap. So see, that's what you get. Overall, the stage looks okay. There's not a whole lot of parallax scrolling going on. I like the background. But the palm trees, this is supposed to be Japan. What is this, by the ocean? Maybe. This palm tree set over here with the bushes just looks fucking cheap. It just looks bad. I'm getting my ass kicked. This game seems pretty hard, but I'm not, I guess, playing that good. Samurai Shodown, if you never played it, works on a 4-button system. You got like a push button, like a kick or a punch. He's got a kick. And then you got a medium slice and then a heavy slice. That's my heavy slice right there as I do a special. And I better beat him on this round because if I don't, there we go, I got him. Haromaru. He's the star of the series. And I will point this out as we look at maybe some of the new characters if I get to fight him here. The differences in style. So Hamuro here is a clearly classic. This is probably his Samurai Shodown 4 iteration. You can see he's got an anime look. I think I cut him in half here. He should fall in half. There he goes. Oh! He's still got like a sharp aesthetic to him. He's not like full-on anime. He still has a little bit of sharpness. I do like these graphics here that they put in, these new presentation graphics. They look pretty good. Like this here, these tiles look good. Shizumaru is a returning character. But see, even her, she's has an anime look, but she's still got like a sharp quality to her. Oh, I got her. Made her lose her weapon, but she picked it right up. This is a new stage. Looks okay. There's no parallax scrolling, though. Behind this main section, there's like nothing back there. And see, that's just what looks cheap. There should have been a parallax scrolling with the temple back there, the giant Japanese mansion, the castle, Japanese castle. That should have been on its own layer. And so when you jump, that should have lowered that. See, it's the good and the bad. Overall, static, this background looks okay. In motion, when you see that, it's like, okay, it's cheap. It looks okay, but it's cheap. And Shizumuru here is going to kick my ass. But yeah, pay close attention to her, because she kind of looks anime-ish, but she's got a sharp quality to her, like sharp edges. Some of the new characters, I've seen them, and they just look way too soft, too anime-like, and they're too fluffy, as I guess you could call it. They don't have any sharp lines on them at all. If I lose here, I'm going to go pick the big guy with the sword. So this version special here of Samurai Shodown 5 is significantly different as my son barges in, just smashing the door, and he's screaming at me. Daddy's playing a game, I'm losing. Oh, and I just lost. Boo Boo. I got cut in half. Boo Boo. And I've lost my train of thought. Oh, I know. Jesus. What the hell just happened? Did you hear that, Jesus? Jesus. Where did that come from? I think I know where it came from. I have OBS recording this, and then I had set up my Streamlab subscriber stuff through OBS. So I got a subscriber. That's why there's a Jesus. So here's a new character, and notice she's very soft and very anime-like. This guy here, Zankuru, he's a Samurai Shodown 3. He might be Samurai Shodown 4 boss, but he's very sharp. See in his clothing, there's a lot of sharp lines. She's very soft. So the styles don't exactly match. This looks like a Samurai Shodown 3 level background, or at least the characters are like from Samurai Shodown 3. I should be able to kick her butt here with this guy. Yeah. You see, he's got very sharp edges around him, all around him, just sharp edges. His clothes. She just looks too soft, and she doesn't match. And plus, she's got a weird skin hue. She's like orange. She's Donald Trump. She's an orange person. Orange man bad. I should be able to beat her here. So Samurai Shodown 5, the regular edition, is actually significantly different in terms of presentation and characters, from what I remember. Samurai Shodown 5 regular had... I beat her there. Samurai Shodown 5 regular had Earthquake, I think that's his name, the big guy with the medicine ball, I think. Then they had another character that took up like half the screen. Those characters are not in this version. They had like a weird zombie or like a demon character. He took up like half the screen. I think they got rid of that character because he was just horrible. Here's a new character, Yunfei. Here's another new stage. Looks good at first glance, but then you see the lack of parallax scrolling. It just looks cheap. It just looks like a bad Photoshop. So I would say that the Samurai Shodown 5 Special is an SNK or Play More copy and paste cash grab. It is not a worthy sequel just for that, because it just looks cheap. Looks like they had some, I don't know, some Chinese guys that they were paying pennies to make some of this art. And they use Photoshop. And so far, this song just sounds kind of cheap too. I'm not going to play a whole lot more here, just a little bit to get a flavor, just get a taste of this game. And I'll say that I'll be able to say I played Samurai Shodown 5 Special. I highly recommend Samurai Shodown 4 though. All around great game. It is awesome. Every part of it. The music, the graphics, the atmosphere. The atmosphere is a big thing about Samurai Shodown 4. Some of the stages, there's no music. Like there's a village that's been attacked and it's burning. No music. You know, you just hear like the wind blowing, and it's very atmospheric. A dark game. I'll play one more fight. Let's see who else we're going to get next. You showed mercy, now look at you. Okay, we're going to get Kazuhiro. Kazuki Kazama. There we go. I was pretty close. He can blow up. If I could pause it to talk about this stage, what the fuck is going on here? Don't like the color. And what the fuck is this music? Is this some fucking remix? Some guy recorded on a Yamaha YM soundboard, and he just saved it, and it wasn't supposed to be put in the game, and they ended up putting it in the game anyway. It sounds really bad. It's got the sample of the guy is kind of stupid. This stage though is ugly looking. You got greenish gold trees in the background. Overall it's a red hue. What's up with those greenish gold trees? And then you look at this bad cut and paste of this blood. There's dead guys next to a well, and the bucket is laying down, and the bucket doesn't look right. There's blue. And this music, holy shit. This stage is a 2 out of 10. This music is a 1 out of 10. I might see he just blew himself up, and he like can copy himself, which is pretty cool. He's a Samurai Shodown 3, introduced in Samurai Shodown 3. He was also in Samurai Shodown 4. I'm gonna kick his ass here. This guy is just tanky. Zankuro. I could probably just fly through the game, destroying everybody with him. He's just big and he just busts through the guard. I'm just kicking his ass. We'll see if I can beat him here. As I let you listen to more of this oh so awesome music. Yeah, gotta say my impressions of Samurai Shodown 5 is, you know what, it plays like a Samurai Shodown game. For the most part. And I'll say that's good. They haven't changed the fighting style. They haven't changed the base mechanics of how the game functions. So that's good. And it feels like a Samurai Shodown game. And I guess it kind of looks like a Samurai Shodown game. Other than the characters, you could say, yeah, at passing glance, it looks like a Samurai Shodown game. But the new additions are just kind of cheap. Well, there we go. We saw Samurai Shodown 5 Special. If you're interested, it's playable on MAME. But let's get back to the fights!
And our second half's about to begin.
I don't fight under his rules. Inoki Bumbaye, it was K1 versus Pride, and we fought under Pride rules. And I made the statement that we should fight under their rules next time, and put my foot in my mouth. And it looks like I'm the only one who's doing it. So.
K1 特別ルール3分3ラウンドインターバル1分 KO あるいはテクニカルノックアウト延長はありませんそして歓声がまた沸き起こりました修羅場の土星にドンフライが入ってまいりますさあゆっくりと進んでまいりました暴走するマシンガン して今日は平和特別ルールおなじみのオープンフィンガーではないシンクのグローブをつけて入ってまいりました。今日の魂の拳どんな風に炸裂するか。間もなくゆっくりとこのリフトが降りて
The second fight under K1 rules sees Dandy Don Frye taking on K1 fighter Jerome LeBanner. Interestingly enough, this was not Don Frye's first chosen opponent for this fight. Mark Hunt, who would eventually become a huge star in Pride after transitioning to MMA and, of course, the UFC, that was his first selected opponent. That would have been an interesting fight. Instead, Don Frye gets to fight a Frenchman who has such nicknames as Geronimo, Hyper Battle Cyborg, and the Bulldog of Normandy.
Dude, those are awesome fucking nicknames.
Those are awesome nicknames. LeBanner's record in kickboxing...
Meanwhile, Don Frye's called the Mustache, and that's also an awesome nickname.
LeBanner's kickboxing record coming into this bout was 59-1-1, and he too has won championships in K1, along with a long run as the ISKA Muay Thai Super Heavyweight Champion. Pre-fight, Don says it was his idea to fight LeBanner under K1 rules. Since the last K1 combatant he fought, Cyril Abadi, he submitted after 33 seconds in the second round in an MMA rules bout. This was at the Inoki Bumbaye of 2001.
Someone's gonna regret that decision. Spoilers!
LeBanner is already in the ring, but luckily we get Don Frye's walkout. Cool elevator system, but it's very slow. I think I see why they opted to cut out most of the walkouts. It literally goes like...
It's slow as hell, but I will say this, like, the music was awesome, and the announcers were on fucking point. It's like, oh, Don Frye! Yeah. I was getting pumped for this shit.
I put here, it would have been a better idea to have the elevator just go into a free fall. LeBanner has a mini-me in his corner, pretty funny. It must be noted, this is Don Frye's first official pro kickboxing bout, and it would also be his last.
Wonder why?
Well, he has pro boxing experience under his belt. I don't think this is going to go Don Frye's way, but we'll just have to see. Good vibe. Any thoughts before we run this fight down?
Nothing, man. I mean, like, this is gonna be interesting. Like I said, I'm fucking pumped for this fight because that intro has me pumped.
Crowd is clearly
like,
behind
Jesus
Frye.
Christ.
Yes. Let's do it. Round one.
And I'm hoping Tom Selleck's more muscular twin can do this.
I hope so too. Let's do it. Round one. Frye charges straight at LeBanner, throwing punches and causing LeBanner to retreat. Against the ropes, LeBanner tries a knee. He's a lot bigger than Frye. They are clinched. The ref separates them, warns Frye about bumping his head. They exchange. Then again, Frye gets knocked down, but it's ruled a slip. They collide again, and LeBanner rocks Frye with a right, then goes in for the kill with a beautiful 1-2 high kick combo. Against the ropes, LeBanner hits Frye about 5 more times, and the ref dives in to give Frye a standing 8 count.
すごいですね。入りましたよ。危ないですよ。
Frye, not lacking in toughness, does not look confident at all here. Besides getting his bell rung, I think Frye realizes he's in way over his head.
Way over. Like, you can tell when they do like a zoom of his face, he's like fucking regretting all life choices.
You can tell he's still like thinking in his head, I'm just going to go straight at him, but you can tell there's a bit of fear there.
Yeah.
And LeBanner with that combo, that 1-2 high kick, perfect. I loved it.
It rocked. It rocked the shit out of Don Frye.
Yes.
Which, honestly, is not a statement you would think you'd be making. Like, Don Frye looks like not the kind of guy that you could fucking rock that badly.
Yes. LeBanner clearly is the confident fighter in this arena. Frye should take this 8 count and rethink his approach. But my feeling is Frye is going to continue to throw caution to the wind, foolishly. On the restart, Frye moves in and gets clipped. LeBanner throws a kick that Frye catches, and then LeBanner twirls Frye to the mat. Restart. LeBanner wades. Frye manages to catch him and clinch to save himself. Ref restart. LeBanner very calm as he throws punches and kicks. Frye is backed into the corner. LeBanner targets his shots, missing with a right hook. Pops Frye with a right jab. Left straight connects. Right hook misses. Errant left, but the next right hook comes right behind it and knocks Frye out cold. vicious shot. The ref comes in and stops the fight. Jerome Lebanner, winner at 1 minute, 23 seconds of the first round. Well, Frye bit off a bit more than he could chew. Still has an amazing mustache.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't get knocked off after beginning rock that hard. You know what? Like, being made that much into a bitch, I would assume the mustache just rips itself off and walks away.
Right,
Because
yes.
Frye had no chance in this fight. Absolutely goddamn nothing.
The banner looked amazing. It's easy to look amazing against a rank amateur, though.
Yeah.
So there is that. The men embrace. Frye looks okay. We teleport to the back, and Lebanner speaks French. Then at a press conference, he speaks English. Thanks, guy.
But now, I concentrate on K1, for the 5 October, because 5 October in December, because this time I really want to be the champion, the K1 Grand Prix champion.
And that's it. Good vibe. Your thoughts on Frye versus Lebanner?
I gotta give Don Frye the same treatment I do the Takeda Dojo.
Oh, come on.
No, honestly, it's the same thing. You sign up for a fight, and then you clearly don't fucking train for it. You're not ready for the event that it was gonna be. So you get fucking rocked. It is the Takeda Dojo way. And I'm sad. I'm sorry. It hurt. Listeners, you can't see me. I'm hurting inside because speaking badly of such a mustache, I'm almost crying here, guys.
Yes.
But he was unprepared.
Yeah, he clearly was. I think he was thinking in the back of his head, well, I got pro boxing under my belt. He did a couple pro boxing bouts in the 80s. And I think he thought his toughness would carry him through. But Lebanner turned out to be a fucking tank.
Yeah.
The Bulldog of Normandy. Yes. I mean, he looked killer. He looked amazing.
In Don Frye's defense, really, what American is going to expect the French to be able to fight that
Right,
well?
yes. Anyway, this was a good fight. I was super into it. The intro, all the things you said, I was way into it. Lebanner is a solid kickboxer, I wrote here, who looked absolutely amazing against Don Frye, a rank amateur. Let's remember that. Still, I wouldn't fuck with Lebanner. I give this fight a 7 out of 10. Hopefully, Don Frye will get back to his winning ways next time we see him, which will be at Pride 23 in November. There he takes on Hidehiko Yoshida, Olympic judo gold medalist who is making his Pride debut later tonight. What would happen with Lebanner? He would return to K1, and in 2005 would see him partake in some MMA matches for K1 and K1 events. He would KO Yoshihiro Akiyama, for example, at K1 Heroes 1 in March of 2005. Lebanner also went into pro wrestling around 2011, wrestling for Inoki Genome Federation. And that's all I have to say about Lebanner. See you around, buddy!
To all the Beast fans, or should I say family, the Beast looks forward to putting on that Pride belt and taking it from Nogueira.
Ele só mostrou em 2 lutas, né, o que ele pode fazer, não tem tanta experiência, vale tudo. E eu acho que nesse fator experiência aí eu vou ser superior a ele, eu tenho muito mais experiência que ele. Muito mais. Eu conheço melhor como eu vou me comportar lá em cima do ringue, eu acredito que ele. Então isso aí eu acho que vai pesar muito para ele. Né? Eu conheço melhor lá o ringue do Pride do que ele. É um lutador que vai para cima na explosão, na força, mas se eu for com técnica, eu acredito que eu vou vencê-lo.
The next fight of this event sees Big Bob Sapp returning to take on his first real challenge in Pride, the current Pride heavyweight champion, Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. Bob was 28 years old at the time of this fight. That's funny. He looks a lot older than 28.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like he's approaching 40. He was 28 years old for this fight, and his MMA record was 2-0. Minotauro, meanwhile, was 26 years old, who also looks a lot older than 26.
Yeah, no shit.
And his MMA record was 16-1-1. We last saw Minotauro at Pride 19, where he triangle choked Enson Inoue. He's fought outside of Pride at Antonio Inoki's UFO event. That's Universal Fighting Arts Organization. UFO was Antonio Inoki's created from the ground up Inokiism wrestling promotion, featuring guys that Inoki really liked, going at it mostly in shoot-style pro wrestling. But UFO would hold, I believe, one real MMA event, and that was UFO Legend, early in August 2002. Minotauro fought lump of shit Sane Kakuta and defeated him via KO in the second round. I didn't mention this last episode, but Babbo had taken up kickboxing prior to his last appearance in Pride. On June 2nd, before Pride 21 and his bout against Kiyoshi Tamura, Bob fought Tsuyoshi Nakasako, a middling Japanese K1 fighter, at K1 Survival 2002 on June 2nd, the day of Minotauro Nogueira's birth, coincidentally. Bob lost that K1 bout via DQ when he punched Nakasako on the ground, which is illegal in K1 kickboxing rules.
猛攻が来るのか、肩中コーナー、来た、ダウンした状態、いったぞ、中坂がいった、野獣退治だ、しかし、小野さん、ここでボール、引きました、ラインセットだった、これはもう試合ではない、セカンド陣がいるんだ、異常事態発生、これはまだ歩いています、武蔵が来た、今武蔵が赤コーナーの階段を上がる、両陣営入り乱れて、ポムサップを今抑えた、今館長がマイクを取ってリングに上がります、石井館長。
Pre-fight, it's Bob Sapp. That's what I have. Pre-fight, it's Bob Sapp. You know, he gives that fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that like, whoa, the beast. Like that's a wrestling intro right there. Is like the beast wants his listeners to know the beast is coming full throttle tonight.
So I have it. Pre-fight, it's Bob Sapp. Period. And then down below I says, is Bob Sapp's gimmick that he's retarded? Is that what it's supposed to be?
I mean, it's in every one of his movies. And by the way, listeners, you're all going to be proud of me. I did remember that Bob Sapp is Bob Sapp. I don't know if you... It's happened every time prior.
Then it's on to Nogueira, who looks very tired. Not sure what he says. Right to the ring, we see Babbo is flanked by Maurice Smith and Josh Barnett. Another solid corner to have. Bob is representing K1 for this bout.
By the way, he's representing K1, but I want to point out something really hilarious, mostly because we're watching the Japanese version of it. When they do like the fighters and the little thing, yeah, his fighting style is NFL.
Yes, I have heard. Yes, it is fucking hilarious. The Japanese, they're just fucking. I don't know if that's like a troll or if they just don't know. They're like, oh, he's a football player. That's his fighting style. NFL.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Bob is representing K1 for this bout, and I believe, and I'm under the assumption that this whole time in Pride, Bob has been a prospect of K1, on loan from K1 to Pride to generate hype and get some experience under his belt. He's not signed to Pride at all. I'm almost positive that this is the gist of the situation. Also, funny to note, Bob Sapp's style is listed as NFL. Ha ha ha, that's moronic. That's what I put.
Yeah, so I saw that, and like it just caught me because of like I was just watching out of the corner of my eye, like just whatever, and all of a sudden it's like NFL. I'm like, did it really just say that?
The crowd seems enthused about this matchup. There is some type of announcement made over the PA system. I believe it has to do with strikes allowed. Since there is a clear 10-kilo weight advantage for Bob Sapp, he outweighs Nogueira by about 120 pounds.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah. It looks like Nogueira has opted for the no knees or kicks to a grounded opponent rule, which is his choice given the weight disadvantage. I understand that choice, but I think it's a sissy choice. Also, the round structure for this fight is Pride rounds, 10-minute first round, 2 5-minute rounds after. Good vibe. Any thoughts before we run this bout down?
Well, no, like you just mentioned, I was very surprised that, Nogueira gave up that weight difference. Like, holy shit. That's a lot. And that's the thing is, it's not what was his name, Manny?
Yes, Manny Yarbrough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's weight. Mm-hmm. With Bob Sapp, this shit's muscle. Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's fucking brave of Nogueira to want to go into this fucking ring.
Yes, let's do it. Round 1. The men rush to meet each other, and Nogueira immediately shoots low for the legs. Sapp sprawls and laugh out loud. What the fuck? Sapp lifts Nogueira up and does a pile driver.
Yeah,
Pile driver.
It was like a reverse or something. Pile driver, power bomb. I don't know what the fuck, but like just slams him the fuck down.
The crowd has gone ape shit. Sapp pounds on Nogueira, then tries to lift him again to little avail this time. Nogueira is looking to escape, holding the right leg. Sapp tries to pick up Nogueira again, who uses the leg hold to impede it. Sapp, huffing and puffing early, needs to relax. He's in full guard now. The lights mysteriously go out, and I wondered if the Undertaker's music was going to hit. Considering the pile driver we just saw, it was almost like the tombstone.
It was out of nowhere, and but that's the thing is like every time that Nogueira's trying to come at Sapp just like no, you're not moving me, and so that's the thing. That's the difference in 100 fucking pound difference.
Measured work here. Sapp tries some punches, getting a good one off. Nogueira is ready to defend. Sapp stands, spins away. Nogueira gets up himself. Awkward exchange. Leg kick by Nogueira, then shoot, which Sapp sprawls. Nogueira eats 2 shots, pulls guard. Sapp ties up the neck, but then lets go. Sapp on his feet again, tries punches. He's breathing very hard, and I think Nogueira might see his path to victory. Nogueira is up to his feet now too. 1-2 from Nogueira beans Sapp, who lowers his hands in response. Big burly kick from Sapp is not effective. Punches from Nogueira, which Sapp just eats. Here comes the NFL on Sapp as he pushes into Nogueira. Nogueira then seems to slip and fall to the mat. Sapp stands away. Nogueira stands up. Sapp's output is bordering on 0 right now, but he throws a kick and a punch, countered by Nogueira. Another shoot in by Nogueira. Sapp sprawls. Nogueira with a high-level switch to escape and sweeps Sapp. I don't know the technical jiu-jitsu term for that move, but I call it a switch. It was beautiful, though. Nogueira is in side control, works for an arm, punches Sapp, who tries to stand. Another punch and Sapp kicks his feet like a toddler throwing a tantrum. Nogueira works punches. The ref comes in to check a cut on Sapp's head. Whoa, where did that come from?
That's a hell of a fucking gash. Like, that shit's deep.
I didn't see where it came from.
No, I didn't either, honestly. But all of a sudden, like, I didn't even realize it was there until they pull him aside. And when they cleaned it, it's like, holy shit, that was deep.
They show a replay, but methinks that a replay did not show where the cut came from.
No, it definitely didn't. Especially because of like, where in, like, above the eyebrow that cut was. That hit was definitely not it.
Yeah. The fight is restarted in the same position. Nogueira doesn't seem to be doing much with a neck crank type hold. Bob uses his big muscly arms to just push Nogueira over, and now Sapp is on top in side control, 5 minutes down. Sapp goes for punches, gets behind Nogueira, rocks him with a hard punch. Nogueira rolls, Sapp with more, then he's on his feet. He jumps and does a downward 1-2 that worked surprisingly well. Sapp shrugs Nogueira's feet to the side and jumps down in side control. He's breathing very hard though. Nogueira improves the half guard. Good punch from Sapp. Now Nogueira gets his feet on Sapp's hips. Then he's thinking of an armbar, but Sapp escapes, is standing. Sapp, huffing hard, backs away. Nogueira stands. He goes towards Sapp. Nogueira fires at will. Sapp with a little defense. Sapp uses his linebacker push to force Nogueira to fall. Sapp, I can't note this enough, is breathing very exaggeratedly. 3 minutes left in round 1. Ref comes in to stand Nogueira up. The men trade. Sapp just can't pull the trigger. Gets clocked. Nogueira shoots, but it's stuffed. Great sprawl from Sapp all night. Sapp beans Nogueira, who's already planning an armbar. He's trying to set it up, and Sapp with a loud yell as he picks up Nogueira and drops him. Yuji Shimada comes in to stand up Nogueira. Sapp wants to punch, but Nogueira is going for the leg. Nogueira is spun to the mat, and he's now bleeding from the left eye area. Sapp, unwilling to expend much energy, is letting Nogueira off the hook here. He almost seems to allow Nogueira to swing towards his leg for a knee bar, and Sapp's in a bit of danger before he simply falls to his knees to break up the attempt. 1 minute left now. The ref comes in to move the fighters out of the ropes, but also allow Nogueira's cut to be checked. Nogueira looks wasted too, very slow to get up to his feet.
Well, I mean, he gets up like it's one of those things where I'm like, I actually ended up laughing because like, you know, he keeps trying to like take on Sapp, and Sapp still has enough strength to like just push him aside, and so Nogueira gets up and is like, fuck this shit, man.
It's got to be exhausting having a 300 and something pound guy on top of you.
Yeah.
Even though Sapp wasn't doing a whole lot and Nogueira wasn't moving a whole lot, having that guy weigh on you
exactly.
is just
and that's the thing is, regardless of anything, Sapp has landed some really solid fucking hits, and I have it in my notes, man. I'm like, I'm very surprised that Nogueira is still in there, because like some of these blows, like you could tell they rocked him, but he just got the fuck back up too.
Nogueira's cut is deemed okay to continue and the fight is restarted in the same position. Sapp wants to punch but just can't seem to do it. After a moment, he finally does, unleashing rights, then lefts. Nogueira locks him down and the bell rings, ending round 1. Nogueira looking beat up. Great round of fighting. Round 2, the bell rings, 1-2 by Nogueira and a late response from Sapp. Nogueira is the one punching as Sapp just stands in front of him, but he manages to get a good left off after they exit a short clinch. Sloppy 1-2 by Nogueira and he shoots for the legs. Sapp sprawls. Nogueira then pulls guard. Sapp with mouth wide open. He looks almost cooked. He tries to get off some hammer fists, but each outburst further exhausts him. Sapp exaggeratedly lifts up his left hand, and Nogueira is already passing for a triangle choke. Sapp, sensing danger, lifts up Nogueira and drops him, but he's not out of the woods yet, and he's stopped trying to defend it as Nogueira tries to lock it down. And wow, Sapp manages to move to side control and get out of it just in time. Sapp, though, is in exhausted agony now. He tries to bulldoze Nogueira around the mat. Nogueira looks to attack the left arm of Sapp, but I'm dubious of this attempt, considering how freakishly large Sapp's arms are. I'm not sure Nogueira has the strength, especially in his own tired state. And I was right, but in a struggle, Nogueira has begun to sweep Sapp, who eventually relents, giving up mount. This assuredly has to be the beginning of the end. But whoop, wrong again, as Sapp casually pushes Nogueira down and he's getting back on top. What a struggle. Nogueira with his legs high over Sapp's shoulders. Sapp pushes them off. Nogueira with wrist control as he turns and does a switch. He's on top now, inside control. He punches a dead tired Sapp who burned whatever he had left in the gas tank in that last struggle. And Nogueira, now smelling victory, feels confident enough to grab the arm, fall back for an armbar, and though Sapp tries to stop it, he can't, and he taps.
ボブサップはスタミナ切れじゃないですかね。
そうですね。
ここから腕ひしぎ行きたいところですけどね、高田さん。
そう、これノゲイラだからここまで対処してますね。これ10時狙ってますよ。狙ってますね。10時ですよ。これ止めますよ。おっと止めている。止めますよこれ。止めます止めます。
さあどうだ。まだこらえている。
止めますよ。
止めます。
止めます止めます。
Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, winner via armbar at 4 minutes and 3 seconds of the second round. The crowd shows their appreciation for that amazing hard-fought battle. Cheers, and they give him a standing ovation, rightly deserved. Mario Sperry has appeared shirtless for some unknown reason. I assume these Brazilian guys just walk around normally sans shirt. Nogueira then gets on the mic, says he took this fight to prove himself the best heavyweight in the world. He then speaks Portuguese, and now I'm lost. He mentions his team, I guess, so I assume he's giving them props for helping him train.
On this fight, I could prove I am the best heavyweight in the world now.
今のね、私が世界で一番強いということがこの試合で証明になりました。
Vou falar em português agora. Eu não estava em 100% nas minhas condições físicas, mas eu tenho uma equipe que me suporta muito, que é o mestre Luiz Alves, o Zé Mário, o pessoal da Top Team, o Fabiano, o Júlio, todos eles fazem acreditar que eu posso vencer qualquer um nesse mundo.
He keeps talking, then we're teleported to the back where a worn Nogueira heads to the locker room, and then we're off to the next bout. Good vibe, your thoughts on this fight?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this was an awesome fight all around. I was very hesitant at the beginning because of how much weight he was giving up, against Sapp, but he pulled it off. I will have to say, I believe my favorite moment in a fight happened in this fight. When Nogueira's down on the ground, and you have Bob Sapp like on top of him, like almost trying to do hammer blows, but Nogueira's like, ready with the kicks. And Sapp just says, fuck this. And like jumps up. And you can tell, like, he lands the hammer blow. Like, it was a hard hammer blow. But I don't know if you noticed, he also got, like, he gave up all defense against the Family Jewels. Like, he literally landed on his fucking nuts against Nogueira's kick. And he still landed the blow. And after that point, like, I was like, holy shit. And then Nogueira gets back up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So, amazing fucking fight.
I wrote here, this could be the best fight ever showcased on Pride. If not, maybe top 3. I'd be hard-pressed to give you a better fight we've seen. Sapp did admirably, but his deficiencies were on show here. Though he's still an extremely tough fight for anyone, assuming you can weather the storm, the odds are evened a little bit. Nogueira showed a lot of guts and was game to mix it up and show off his boxing. Anyway, overall, amazing fight. I give it a high 9 out of 10. So what would become of our 2 beef tank troopers here? Minotaur will be back at Pride 24 in December to have a rematch against the man who beat him at the 1999 King of Rings tournament, Dan Henderson. As for Sapp, believe it or not, this was it for his Pride appearances. Since K1 and Pride would have a better separation due to Yakuza infighting and contractual BS, K1 wouldn't allow Bob Sapp to appear in Pride anymore. So he returned to K1 and kickboxing for the rest of 2002, racking up 3 straight wins, including 2 against Ernesto Hoost. His next MMA bout would come at the end of 2002 as he fought Yoshihiro Takayama at the Inoki Bumba of 2002, and surprisingly, Sapp beat him with an armbar. Sapp did an armbar? What? I guess so. Maybe that was a work, though. I don't believe it, despite actually watching it myself.
He learned this lesson after this fight.
Right. Bob had an interesting 2003. He was obliterated by Cro Cop in a K1 fight and then fought Chemo, Jesus, at a K1 event in Las Vegas, knocking Chemo out after Bob was clearly given some help from the ref. Mike Tyson was in attendance, and after getting into a verbal spat with Sapp, a fight was drawn up, but it was scrapped after it couldn't be held in Japan due to Mike Tyson's felon status. You can't get a visa if you're a felon in Japan.
Oh, really?
So if you have a felony in any country, you can't go to Japan.
Damn.
You're out of luck. Bob would have sporadic MMA bouts through the mid-2000s, most notably fighting and losing to Kazuyuki Fujita after submitting due to kicks. Bob's record in MMA up until 2007 was a pretty good 9-2-1. Impressive on paper, but with lots of wins over paper bags. From 2008 onward, it was all downhill. His record from 2008 through 2016 was 2-18.
Wow.
Yes, he went from 9-2-1 prior to 2007 to 2-18. How does that happen?
I mean, you give up on life, or you just fight people that are gonna beat the shit out of you.
His record disimproved from 9-2-1 to 11-20-1. His kickboxing record suffered much the same. He went 10-4 up through the middle of 2005, but after that he went 2-15. How is that possible?
He went into Hollywood, man. He became an actor.
He stopped training. He stopped giving a shit, and knew that people would pay him regardless of outcome.
Well, I mean, because that's the thing is he relied too much on his body build. You know, you have a giant guy, muscular as all hell.
Right, and that's why people wanted to sign him to fights, even if they knew he was just going to go in there and fucking lose.
Gas himself out in the first minute like he did this time.
Some notable opponents for Bob include Iko Hisa the Punk Minowa, Bobby Lashley, Alexander Otska, and Holes Gracie, all MMA bouts and all losses. Bob's most recent MMA bout was against Egyptian sumo wrestler Osunu Rashi, which took place at Ryzen 13 in September of 2018. Bob pulled out a decision victory after 3 rounds, and he might be retired, but he hasn't said yet. And that's all I really have to say about Bob Sapp. We'll see you around, Bobo.
He's telling me not to underestimate, not to be overconfident, keep my mind open for whatever can happen on the fight, you see, to go ahead and take advantage. 30 seconds before the fight is over, I'll put my hand on the collar, I'll put him inside of my guard, I'll put the first hand on the collar, I'll put the second hand on the collar, and I'll choke and make him go to sleep. Maybe it's a little more honorable to him go to sleep.
やっぱ柔道でね、一区切りつけたんで、また自分の新たな戦いの場をこういう時に求めてしまったんじゃないかなっていうふうに思ってますね。まだまだ自分でもできるっていうそういう気持ちもありますし、ただやはりね、気持ちの面でオリンピックとか柔道でオリンピック世界選手権を目指すのは厳しいなと。でも体まだいけるぞと。じゃあ他で何かできないかって言った時に話が来たんで、まあ土俵は違いますけど、やっぱり勝負に対するこだわりは一緒なんで、絶対負けたくはないですよね。
選手の入場
た歓声が高くなりました。聖火台の炎がまるで紅の炎のように燃え盛っている。入ってまいりました青畳の柔道戦士、ここがプロの初舞台、夢舞台、格闘界最強の新参者であります吉田玉砕の金メダリスト。礼に始まって礼に終わる礼節の世界、その礼の世界から無礼の世界へ。大阪剛をはじめとしてセコンド陣がきちっと脇を固めている。さあこれより吉田が登っていくリングは格闘エリートたちの赤畳であります。柔道家の新基準を作れるか吉田秀彦。間違ってのホイスの引き込み、あり地獄にはまってはいけない。なんせ51年の歳月が降り積もった因縁の戦い、その歳月であります。裸一貫、自分探しの旅人、プロの世界に転向してまいりました吉田。
The next bout of Pride Shockwave 2002 is a special grappling bout, which sees the return of Royce Gracie, who takes on newcomer to Pride, Hirohiko Yoshida. Royce was 35 years old for this grappling match, and his opponent, Yoshida, from Japan, was 32 years old. Royce has returned to Pride, last being seen fighting Sakuraba in the 90-minute marathon at Pride 2000 Grand Prix Finals. He's back now to face off against Japanese judo star Hirohiko Yoshida. But just who is this Yoshida fellow anyway?
Now, 1 second. Didn't Royce already have like a special bout like this before? Or, yeah, wasn't it? It was him, wasn't it?
He fought the kata in a gi.
Yes. No. Can't remember what Pride. I thought he had already had another special rules one.
Well, he fought...
Or it was like a demonstration one, wasn't it?
No, that was Hickson Gracie and Hoyler Gracie. And that was back in like Pride 7.
Oh, okay. It was so wrong Gracie.
Yeah, wrong Gracie. He's a brother. So
okay.
Close enough.
All Gracies look alike.
Right.
Except for oh my god.
Henzo?
No, not Henzo. My brain is failing
Hickson
me right
is bald. Hoyler is small.
Yeah.
Royce...
small too.
He's skinny. Yoshida was a judoka in school and appeared at the 1991 World Judo Championships in Barcelona, taking third place in the 78 kilo division. He then took gold in the 1991 All Japan Judo Championships and the 1992 A tournament in Sofia before entering the 1992 Summer Olympic Games. He swept the competition in Barcelona that year, winning all 6 matches by ippon, which is described as the highest score a fighter can achieve in a Japanese martial arts. And in judo, ippon is considered a knockout. I'm not a judo guy, so what ippon actually looks like in practice in a judo match, I couldn't fucking tell you. Maybe it's like a dominating performance. Anyway, he went on to medal in the 93, 95, and 1999 World Championships, but didn't win gold at the Olympics ever again. He finished in 5th place in the 1996 Summer Games and 9th at the 2000 Summer Games. And he retired from judo after the 2000 Summer Games. And that brings us here to Pride Shockwave 2002. Pre-fight, Royce says that Yoshida told him not to be overconfident in their fight, but that he was going to choke him to sleep. Royce is already in the ring, and Yoshida comes out flanked by Shiyoshi Kosaka and some other vaguely recognizable Japanese men. I must say I'm generally disappointed with the Japanese DVD here, as they have cut out the majority of the entrances so far, only showing key fighters, despite the fact that the total length of the DVD is barely over 2 hours. They had plenty of fucking space. Why did they not include this stuff?
Well, I mean, did they really have that much space? Like, 2 hours for a DVD is not terrible. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
yeah, but they could hold like 3 hours of video on there.
Well, I mean, you can, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Okay.
There's times when those events like seem dragged the fuck on.
Kai Grant handles the introductions, and I'm wondering if the Japanese are fully believing in their judo star here. I'm not suggesting he isn't great, but I know the Japanese have been burnt before. Takada.
青コーナー185センチ88キロホイス・グレイシ
ー、この仏頂面、ホイス・グレイシー、グレイシー原理主義、
赤コーナー
不快数 100% の目つきであります。
102.6 キロ吉田秀彦、
内股ハリケーンが渦巻くか。
It looks like the first round will be 10 minutes and then the unlimited time limit for the second round. I don't know. It says 10-minute round 1 and then a bunch of words for round 2. So I assume it means unlimited time after the second round. Good vibe. Any thoughts here before we run down this grappling match?
Grappling, it's just a weird match. It's too far in the card for me for this kind of fight. This is because I understand the skill and I understand everything, but we just had an amazing fucking fight, a very hyped fight, and honestly, this fight is gonna bring the entire momentum down.
We say that from Americanized though. Yoshida was.
No, I'm saying that not so much Americanized. Just honestly, MMA.
But for the Japanese, this is like they're into this. They want to see this match.
Okay, and I'll give them that. It's just for me, not so much as Americanized, but more as an MMA card. You have you have these fights, and then you have what pretty much is more of a demonstration than a full out fight.
Yeah.
So to me, it's not. I can see where it's coming from, and like you said, probably in Japan, it's like this kind of stuff is really cool, really really big. I wouldn't have put it this far in the card.
I can understand that. Let's do it. The bell rings for round 1. Hoist skips in, grabs Yoshida, and pulls guard. Yoshida is on top in half guard. Yoshida is then on his feet. Hoist looks to maybe secure an ankle lock. I guess you could call this tense. Not much is happening, but this is kind of typical for a jiu-jitsu grappling match, especially in a gi. Yoshida chant breaks out. That's it, Japan. Will him to win. They tried to reposition. Not much is happening. I guess this could be exciting if you really like gi grappling? Question mark? The men are a bit tangled up on the mat, as now they have dueling ankle holds, and Yoshida is going for an inverted heel hook.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wildest move in MMA history, the ass-to-ass grapple.
Hoist visibly struggles. This might actually hurt. Hoist rolls over, still grimacing, as he now tries to apply an ankle stretch. With a determined face, he pulls. Then Hoist turns and he's loose. Yoshida runs to get up, and 5 minutes are down. There's a kick by Hoist. That's legal? He kicks him. I don't know. And then the men grab each other's gi and Hoist pulls guard. Yoshida lifts Hoist and slams him down. Hoist attempts to grab the collars of Yoshida, causing Yoshida to shift away. Yoshida works toward a partial side control, targets the left arm. 3 minutes remain in round 1. Yoshida then goes for a gi choke, and it appears that Hoist's left arm and leg go limp. Yoshida alerts the ref, who takes a close look, and the fight is called. That's it. Yoshida, winner at 6 minutes and 25 seconds of the first round. Royce Gracie is up, off camera, attacks the ref. For real. You don't see it because the Japanese camera doesn't show it. They cut away. Gracie's corner floods the ring. Outside officials flood the ring, including Matt Hume, who goes to protect the ref, all while Yoshida celebrates. The Japanese DVD then fucking cuts away. And I'm kind of regretting having us watch the Japanese DVD rip, though I say that I don't think this fight was included on the American DVD at all.
Oh.
Royce Gracie has been choked out! No, Royce is not choked out. Royce is not pushing. Oh, there is a fifth fight going on in the ring. There's some kind of a brawl going on. What's going on here? Oh, the referees. There seems to be some discontent. Controversy in the ring. Controversy in the ring. It appeared the referee stopped the fight, thinking Royce Gracie had been choked out. I want to see a replay on that. Royce didn't go limp. No. And he jumped up right away. The referee pulled Yoshida up. Hoist jumped up right away. He said, no.
So he wasn't choked out?
No.
Oh, this is not good.
This is not good. They should make a restart here.
Yeah, it would be interesting for them to have a restart. Well, this is going to be a real tough situation. We've already given an honorary certificate to Helio Gracie. Now all of a sudden, you know, Royce Gracie seems to have not been choked out. I don't know. Another controversy. This is shades of when Helio Gracie fought Sakuraba and the referee stopped the fight and they complained after that.
They got to restart it. Royce is
I hope I would like to see a restart. Yeah, me too. I'd like to see a conclusive.
And they're not going to restart it. Okay, well, they say they had the...
Bill Goldberg is really famous in Japan.
Yeah, when we were shooting the intro, the people didn't want to stop shouting. They needed extra people to say to the audience, please be quiet, we're shooting an intro here. Everybody was screaming, Bill, Bill, Bill.
Not only is this crowd in appreciation of the spectacular champions from Pride and K1 and all around the world, but they're also appreciative of this man, one of the true sports personalities of America, a phenomenal athlete. He came up playing pro football for the Atlanta Falcons, and Bill Goldberg is just a real nice guy. It's a pleasure to have him here at this event to really bring all eyes in the sporting world on Japan here at National Stadium for Shockwave. Goldberg, funny guy too.
Yeah, he's very funny. I think we're going to have a lot of fun tonight too. After the whole thing is over, we met him now like 2 hours, and of course he was in a lot of meetings and everybody's pulling on him. But I think after the show, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, because he's a huge fan of mixed martial arts. He says he's watched every UFC, every Pride. He's just a consummate professional. And, you know, I'm wondering if he really is into the training too.
He is. He actually, I hope I can say, he told me that he wants to come and train with me. He really wants to go in.
Okay, here he is. Listen to this crowd, man. Come on, I got them.
Konbanwa.
Good evening. Good evening. We know that.
I want to thank Mr. Ishii to let me be a part of this wonderful evening. Dynamite.
And
that is the title here in Japan, but you folks at home are seeing it as Shockwave.
I'm very proud,
So disregard it.
very honored to be here in Japan.
Looks like a great big giant box rooting to me.
Nothing against Bill, but I'm better looking. I gotta watch out.
Friday and Saturday
behind me.
at the Budokan, Goldberg is back.
金曜日と土曜日、武道館にてゴールドバーグが帰ってきます。
I hope the Japanese fans appreciate and admire my work.
日本のファンの皆様が私の試合を楽しんで、そして私の試合を誇りに思ってくれたら良いと思っています。
One more thing. Who's next?
What a wild man. He's got a camera on him up close. He's hovering somewhere over the rainbow, way up high above the National Stadium here outside Tokyo, Japan. Gonna make his plunge
Inoki is 60 years old. A 60-year-old Wonder Man, Superman, in front of 91,000 people here at National Stadium. This is Shockwave, folks. There has never been a show like this thus far in the history of the martial arts. Inoki jogging up. And you know, when he gets into that ring, boss, we're going to break our eardrums. That's one thing for sure. He's going to be with the NCC. And look who at ringside one more time. Bill Goldberg is in the house. What's up, Bill?
What's up, gentlemen? This time I'm not sweating profusely because I didn't have to run down. So have a good time now.
You think Inoki's sweating right now, having run to the landing field?
Yeah, I'd have to say Inoki's pretty crazy to beat.
Yoshida's on the mic after that, says thanks to the happy crowd, and then we're off to the main event.
So,
good vibe. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This was the most impressive moment I've seen because that double ankle lock, I thought they were gonna break bones, and then like right after they get loose, both of them are just standing up, walking normally. I was like, holy shit! Like you looked at those, like especially Hoist's foot. Hoist's foot looked like it was fucking like 360 goddamn turn.
And he just had this fucking scowl on his face, like he was fighting back the pain. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and they got back and then fighting, so I was okay.
This match was okay in the context of this event, and this is why. Being that this was a massive combat super show and a grappling match between two grappling superstars, I'm fine with that in the context that this was the biggest combat sports show ever. So I'm okay with mixed martial arts fights, kickboxing matches, and a grappling match.
I mean, like I said, it was actually not a bad match. It was a good match.
No, yeah.
I just don't like the positioning and the card for it.
I can understand. It was an okay affair, not terribly boring, and probably pretty exciting as far as gi grappling matches go.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing is I had no idea what the rules are, so I was like, some of the shit I saw, I'm like, is that even allowed?
Right. I'm sure if you really like gi grappling matches, you're like on the edge of your fucking seat, just going fucking nuts.
Especially that ass-to-ass scene.
The ass-to-ass, yes. I think the ref made a huge mistake. Let Hoist be choked near death. Okay? That way the fucking Gracies can't bitch and moan after the fight. I think Hoist was out. You saw his arm go limp. His leg went limp. But he was still holding on with the right. So the ref made a huge mistake here. Just let Yoshida keep choking him until he's fucking gurgling and foam is coming out of his mouth. That way you can point and say, you know, the Gracies can't fucking complain. Because that's what they fucking do every time
but that's
this happens.
Thing is, no matter how it happens, the Gracies are going to complain. You've seen this before. You've seen times they're getting fucking rocked. And so they lose the fight, and they're like, no, we never got rocked.
Right. Yeah.
There was bad calls on the ref. It's like, no, fuck you. You got fucking rocked.
In fact, Gracie said after this, he said somewhere in like an interview, you didn't make me tap Yoshida. So the Gracies said that this was a fix. The ref stopped the fight too early. They all complained about it.
But they were going to complain regardless. They're
anyway,
fucking douchebags.
I give this match a 6 out of 10. So what would become of our two ass-grabbing grapplers here? Yoshida will return to Pride in a couple months after this appearance, where he will embark on his MMA career in earnest, or maybe not, with his first bout against Don Frye at Pride 23 in November 2002. I say maybe not, because again, many people claim that fight is a work. We'll see. As for Hoist, we'll see him once more in Pride at Shockwave 2003, where he returns to take on Hirohiko Yoshida once again, but this time in an MMA bout, not a grappling bout. Well, maybe that could be interesting. We'll see you boys then.
Sakuraba 和志選手の優勝です。
10万人が一つになりました。神話戦から10ヶ月、復活の場はここナショナルスタジアム。相手は総合部、これはビッグバンプレーだ。桜庭らしい入場だ。桜庭らしい後ろからスプレーで白い煙。出ました桜庭らしい入場シーン。ご覧ください、このベーダーのマスク。己はプロレスラーであるという宣言。
It's now time for the main event of Pride Shockwave 2002, which sees a returning Kazushi Sakuraba taking on a returning Mirko Cro Cop. Sakuraba was 33 years old for this bout, and his MMA record was 13-4-1 and won no contest. Cro Cop, meanwhile, was 27 years old, and his MMA record was 2-0-2. Both men returned to the Pride ring after facing Wanderlei Silva. Sakuraba had fought and lost to Wanderlei at Pride 17 in November 2001, and Cro Cop went to a draw against the Axe Murderer at Pride 20 in April 2002. Geezer tidbit, this bout on August 28th comes between both men's birthdays. Sakuraba had turned 33 on July 14th, and Cro Cop will be turning 28 circa 2002 on September 10th. Pre-fight, we see Sakuraba arriving during the day before the event. He checks out the ring and then is in a minivan, looking at what appears to be a Big Van Vader gas mask. Then he consults Takada.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. You ready for this? Fuck you, Takada.
You know, it's funny you say that. And so I still go on the Russian MMA pirate forum, you know, and I was talking to some of the guys, and I shared Hustle 1 because I asked them if anyone wanted to see Hustle 1, which was Takada's Gonzo pro wrestling promotion that had like over-the-top gimmicks. He was like an evil dictator in it. Crazy fucking shit. Yeah. And one of the guys there replied, fuck Takada, you know, because he clearly watched some Pride Resurrection stuff. So
I'm glad you listeners love this, because I honestly fucking hate them. And I know I've seen this in the comments before, and I know I see it when we do the live things, is had Takada, or you know what, let's add insult to injury. Let's mispronounce his name like I always have. If Takada had stuck to wrestling and all that stuff, I don't care. He would have been amazing. Now, my problem is he created this event, Pride. He created this company, and he threw himself in as the main event when he had no fucking place. And he got rocked the first time, and then it's like, I got rocked because I didn't train enough for this. What should I do? The answer should be a Sakuraba-style answer. Fucking train. Fucking learn. No. I'm going to hire a fucking jobber so that I can beat the fuck out of him as a main event, because I'm still fucking main event. And at that point, I'm like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
Yes. Sakuraba consults Takada, is seen following Semmy Schilt, then to the fighter parade introduction. Then an hour later, he's running sprints outside of the arena. He's sparring, and then it's time for the fight. Cro Cop does not get his introduction. Instead, we get Sakuraba's, and it almost sounds like he comes out to a Streets of Rage song. He has on that very Vaderish mask, which is removed to reveal his S&M-inspired wrestling mask. Interesting Dutch angle zoom in through the flame as Kai Grant begins his in-ring introduction.
ただいまより本日のメインイベント第8試合を行います。青コーナー188センチ98キロメルコ
業ミルコ・クロコップ188センチ98キロ
180センチ87キロSakuraba Kazushi!
Cro Cop looks ready for a fight. Sakuraba looks in really good shape with a lot more muscle than his normally soft body form. This one will be fought in 5-minute rounds. Not sure about restrictions on strikes, but from the roar of the crowd, it sounds like Sakuraba has refused the 10-kilo rule regarding strikes allowed. Yuji Shimada confirms this when he says, kicking to the head allowed.
それを桜庭は認めました。4ポジションでの攻撃を認めたため、4ポジションでの大攻撃が可能となります。高田さん、桜庭の完全なる意思表示、すごいですよね。
桜庭のプライドですね。
プライドですね。そうですね。館長、それをどう見ますか。ミルコ側から見た場合に。
やっぱしそれだけの自信があるんでしょうね。
なるほど。
桜庭選手のやっぱし今までの。
Yuji Shimada, it should be noted, has been recently revealed to me to be quite a nefarious character backstage, being close to Nobuyuki Sakigabara, but that's a story for another day. Good vibe. Any thoughts on this before we run the fight down?
So I'm not gonna lie, the funniest, I laughed my ass off at Sakuraba's entrance with the fucking discount pyrotechnics on the two fucking behind him just spraying. I was like, oh my god.
The guy had 2 CO2 duster cans that turned upside down spraying. It was fucking awesome.
Amazing.
Yes.
And then
I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't mention it, but yes.
Yeah. And then the best part about that is, so this happens and I'm fucking laughing my ass off. He takes off the mask and then he reveals the shitty Vader mask, the wrestler Vader mask. Yeah. I'm like, why? Just keep the cool mask on the entire fucking time.
Right. Yeah, but in Japan, Vader wore very, very similar style gas mask, which was fucking cool. I wonder if he got that from Vader. Anyway.
By the way, I also do want to point out that out of every Pride fighter that we've seen so far, Sakuraba is really the one that has the most notable cauliflower ears. Like he did not like try to fix them at all, try to like bleed them or whatever. His ears are royally fucked up.
And I don't know if you saw that picture of a future fight where it would balloon up even more and then literally rip off the side of his head and it was hanging down. Fucking disgusting.
No, I have not seen that. I am really glad I fucking have it.
I'm gonna share it with you on Twitter so you can see it and have nightmares. It is horrid. Anyway, let's do it. Round 1. Sakuraba winds up and shoots straight in with a solid shot, but Cro Cop defended, punches as Sakuraba tries to exit. Sakuraba tries again, this time setting up the shot with a right punch. Another good sprawl, though, by Cro Cop, and then the men separate. Pretty tense 15 seconds as they circle, and interesting to note, both men are fighting from the southpaw stance. Kick by Cro Cop as Sakuraba counters with a 1-2. Missing leg kick by Sakuraba. Straight left by Cro Cop and a right hook has Sakuraba scrambling for a leg. Cro Cop sprawls and wraps up Sakuraba's neck. Cro Cop knees the head, then thigh. Then they separate. Sakuraba fakes a left and jabs up with a right. Then the men trade punches, but Cro Cop's one hurt more as Sakuraba is sent reeling back. Cro Cop has the advantage again on the next punch. Low kick by Cro Cop, and Sakuraba was a hair too late on the shoot attempt as he misses the ankle. Meaty ass kick by Cro Cop. Then another harder one. Sakuraba fires one back. Another low kick from Cro Cop. After Sakuraba tries a failing shoot attempt, Cro Cop's sprawl is on point here. The men acknowledge their efforts, touching gloves. Sakuraba with a nice 1-2. Sakuraba then fakes a shoot, causing Cro Cop to look a bit off guard. This is what Sakuraba needs to do. Be more loose, more relaxed. Snappy head kick attempt by Cro Cop. What a low kick by Cro Cop. That one hurt. Sakuraba comes in with a right and a couple punches after. Against the ropes, they push off. Sakuraba shoots again, and now he gets a leg for the first time. He pulls up, and Cro Cop is put down to the mat. The crowd cheering loudly. I don't think I've ever heard a louder cheer for a takedown ever in my life.
サポーターを残している右の左さあ接近戦
離れ際気をつけない離れ際気をつけないんですねはいが来ます
小刻みのパンチワンタックルこれはどうだこれはどうださあミルコはこれは
Hounds down, the loudest pop.
Well, I mean, this entire event, Sakuraba has gotten the loudest pops ever. Mm-hmm. Like when he walked into at the beginning of the event, like it was even more noticeable when they did the little entry video for when his fight was about to start. That little thing, like the moment he walked in, and I found it hilarious because he's like walking in shorts on fucking flip flops, and the crowd is still fucking going wild. Yes. But I
yeah,
was
as soon as the spotlight turned on him.
Yeah. But I mean, so that's the thing is Sakuraba, and for good measure, I will say, for very good measure, he is like the hometown hero. So like everything he does is fucking amazing, and I give him that. I'm like, I applaud that the fact that this is a fighter that really fucking has worked hard and showing up here against Cro Cop, dude. Like
Sakuraba's been the one Japanese fighter that's been a winner. He doesn't always win, but he's been a winner.
Yeah, I mean, Shoji is a second place to that, but Sakuraba is definitely as far as because let's be honest, he's been handicapping himself by still being with the Takara Dojo.
Yeah.
But he's still improving. Like that's the one thing is like I know I've said this in previous prides. Sakuraba rises up to his opponent, and so like the stronger the opponent is, it's not like Sakuraba gets rocked. Right. It's not like he's a good fucking punching bag. No, he can actually keep up as a fighter.
Sakuraba's in guard. He works to set himself up. He delivers a duo of hammer fist. He's posturing up, but with fading time here as there's 1 minute left in round 1. Some more punches from Sakuraba, and a Sakuraba chant breaks out briefly. Double chop attempt allows Cro Cop to kick Sakuraba away. Cro Cop goes to stand, but gets cut down by a punch. Sakuraba briefly rides Cro Cop's legs before being thrown away. Cro Cop rolls. Both men are up, and wow, what a sequence. Then the bell rings, ending round 1.
まずはグラウンドを取って己のペースを掴んでおきたい第1ラウンド残りあと20秒。
桜選手はどうしたらいいんですか、高橋さん、ここから
足を取るか、ものすごいんですよ、締め付けが見るから力ありますからね、足を
モンゴリアンジャップ、そしてパンチ飛び込む。桜が見せています。ミルコが苦笑い。
Great first round, and this is a very worthy main event to the biggest MMA show of all time. Agree or disagree?
It's no. I will say this. As far as a main event, it was. I will also say this. This is one of those events where there's 2 or 3 fights that I thought, I'm like, any of these could have been a great main event. So it's been fucking great.
Round 2, Sakuraba is very sweaty. Cro Cop looks completely dry. I wonder what the air temperature is. Another regret here lacking the English from Quadros and Boss. I'm sure Quadros would have made note of the temperature. 30 seconds of feeling out here when Sakuraba fires a leg kick right at the 30-second mark. Right punch from Sakuraba. Cro Cop might be luring Sakuraba into a sense of safety here. He hasn't even hinted at a strike. Left head kick might be forthcoming, but it's a low leg kick that comes first. Then the high kick comes after it, just missing Sakuraba's face. Sakuraba smiles at that, then eats a low kick. Sakuraba rushes in, collides with Cro Cop and is deflected back. Sakuraba loads up and shoots, failing to get a leg and is back up. Sakuraba gets lucky with his timing as he moves in just as Cro Cop is sending out a left kick. They collide and Cro Cop is knocked off balance. He falls to the mat. Sakuraba is on top and half guard. Against the ropes, Cro Cop gets Sakuraba tangled up in an arm triangle. Sakuraba wants the left arm for a Kimura, but every time he reaches for it, Cro Cop pulls his arm up and away. 2 minutes left in round 2. Sakuraba is pushed away at Cro Cop's hunched knees, gets punched with 2 solid lefts. Cro Cop then extends his leg out, pushing Sakuraba to his feet, and he jumps right back on top over Cro Cop, then gets down in guard. Sakuraba tries a hammer fist. We're down to 1 minute now. Several hammer fists from Sakuraba. He postures up, throws lefts and rights. Cro Cop on point as he kicks Sakuraba away and gets up. Sakuraba is already shooting in, and he has the left leg, and he takes Cro Cop down again, back in guard. But time is run out in round 2 as the bell rings. 2 rounds down, and I give both rounds to Sakuraba so far. But something's up. Sakuraba is on his knees. Yuji Shimada is there. Sakuraba's right eye is completely swollen shut. His corner is conversing with him. In the ring, now the doctor is there. Sakuraba gives the thumbs up as they check him. There's more conversing happening, and then suddenly the bell is ringing. Cro Cop raises his arms, is announced the winner, and it looks like he is the victor.
そうですか。本人は見えるというような位置を見せているという情報も今一瞬放送局サイトに入りましたが、本人は打ち戻された。勝者ミルコ・クロコップに外界ドクターストップ試合続行。
Mirko Cro Cop winner via TKO due to doctor stoppage after 2 rounds.
I get it. I get the call. Like Sakuraba, I mean, his eyes look like he could barely fucking keep them open.
It looks like he could barely see as it is.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like the camera shots at Sakuraba. Like when they did the doctor's call, I wasn't that surprised. I mean, it was a great fight, and it was a very even fight. And I will say this: it probably sucked for Sakuraba because he is one of those fighters that doesn't really want to give up.
Right. He probably
wants to keep on fighting, but for an overall health, I think the ref made the right call.
The crowd is beside themselves. Sakuraba has fallen again. A devastating end for the Japanese crowd and an anticlimactic end for us to what was really a good match. An official gets on the mic to inform the crowd what happened, and then Sakuraba is shown getting on the mic.
夏休みの最後に、負けてしまいまして申し訳ありませんでした。次からまた、一からやり直して頑張りたいと思いますので、皆さんも明日から頑張ってください。すいませんでした。ありがとうございました。
DVD then heads to a quick ending. Good vibe. Your thoughts on Cro Cop versus Sakuraba?
Yeah, great fight. Plain and simple. I mean, like I said, Sakuraba always goes up to the fighter. And Cro Cop is always been really good. By the way, I keep forgetting some of this shit, but I had a note about it. I found it hilarious. Cro Cop, is that his name or his profession?
Well, yes.
Because Croatia, the initials are CRO. So is he a cop in Croatia?
He was a special forces officer. So yeah, so his name is Mirko Filipic is his real name. Cro Cop is the nickname that he was given, kind of be a little bit easier to say. But yeah, he was a special forces, I think a special forces guy. Not like a real, like an American Navy SEAL, but more like just a police special force. Not like going out on missions in the jungle and shit like that, but just like on the police force, like a special force police force. So yeah, that is why he's called Cro Cop. Well, this match...
You learn something new every day.
Right.
At this point, I want you to put the more you know.
This was a really good match, and I was super into it. I found it quite exciting, not a dull moment at all. It is said that one of the up kicks from Cro Cop broke Sakuraba's orbital bone, but I think it might have been a couple of those punches. So ouch, and I can understand a stoppage. While the ending was a screeching halt, I still think this was a great match. I give it an 8 out of 10. So what will become of our two pip-poppin' punchers here? Sakuraba will make a quick... Sakuraba will make a quick return at Pride 23 Championship Chaos 2 in November of 2002 to have a gimme match against Glass Joe from Punch-Out fame. The fighter's name is Giles Arsene from France, who holds a record of 1-0. And being honest here, that is approaching Takada level of bullshit right there. As for Cro Cop, it will be a year until we see him again. He'll be back at Pride 26, bad to the bone, in June of 2003 to take on Heath Herring. Cro Cop will fight once in MMA before that at the Inoki Bumbaye of 2002, where he fights Kazuyuki Fujita for a second time. We'll see you boys then. Nothing happens on the DVD after Sakuraba talks, just the credits. And so we've come to the end of Shockwave 2002. Good vibe. Your overall thoughts on this event?
You know what? I will say this. To me, probably the best Pride event we've watched. Because it's one of those things that, I mean, it had terrible fights. And it had some, I wouldn't say terrible fights, but bad judgment calls. Like I said, having the gi grappling thing so far down the card, whatever, it was still an entertaining match. But it had a lot of fights that to me are like, bam, excitement. And even like that's the thing. Even the K1 rules fights, they fucking rocked it. I mean, because that's the thing is, I think Pride would have done a lot better if at the beginning when they were trying to experiment with this, if they had solidified rules. I think that's one of the problems that Pride had at the beginning is they had no like full out rules. They fucked around too much, so the fights were never, exciting. Had they done this earlier on, they probably would have pulled it off a lot better. But this one, Pride has established itself. They know what they want. They know what the people want. They've fucking set the rules up as they need to be. And none of these fucking 60-minute fucking fights.
Right. I think you're right on the rules of the round structures too for this whole card. Every fight seemed to have a different time and different strike slot. It was kind of all over the place.
And that's the thing is, I hope that if we were to watch not Japanese, they would have explained it. That's the thing. In earlier Pride, nobody knew what the fucking rules were. I'm pretty sure even the ref didn't know what the fucking rules were.
Right. This is what I have. This was and still is the biggest combat sports event of all time. Even if it was 70-some thousand people, it's still by far and away the largest ever event held. UFC has come close. They sold some 50,000 tickets in 2015 for Ronda Rousey versus Holly Holm. And maybe one day Shockwave's attendance record will be broken. But as for the event itself, I think it was a great show. Sure, there was a couple down moments or disappointing matchups, but otherwise this was an awesome once in a lifetime MMA extravaganza. I give this event an 8 out of 10. And now it's the time of the show where we pick our fight of the night. Good Vibe, what was your fight of the night?
Oh man, it's actually kind of weird because hands down, I gotta give it to the Sapp fight. You know, it was one of those things where I was very surprised Sapp made it that long because you could tell he was gassed out like after minute 1, but he still made it a fight, and you had Nogueira getting rocked and still being in the fight. But I would say, like, even with that fight being that amazing, I would still be like, I can't really full out choose it between that, the Cro Cop Sakuraba fight, or even honestly for me the Ernesto versus Semmy fight. That was one of those fights where I was like, action the entire time. I thought it was gonna end up after the second round because I thought they were gassed out, and all of a sudden they come in and Semmy just fucking like rocks it again. So like that's what I'm saying is, to me this is one of my favorite events. Most of these fights I would have not had a problem if they were the main event. If this is how the night is closing, amazing. The Sakuraba fight was a great close. The Sapp fight, I think personally, would have been like the way to end the night because it was just so fucking hype.
Right. I would say both Nogueira versus Sapp and Cro Cop versus Sakuraba were great choices for fight of the night. I'll give it to Cro Cop versus Sakuraba since I was legitimately on the edge of my seat the whole fight, even though I've seen this fight a couple times. It really is a great, exciting match. And with that, we've come to the end of episode 25. Wow, 25 episodes. Holy shit. We should celebrate. Wow.
Wait. Isn't it 25 now? They Pride can now rent a car without paying extra insurance or something like that, isn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What? No, one second. No, oh shit, this is the wrong one. God damn it. My phone is trying to make me open all these other shitty games. Give me a second.
You can't rent a car until you're 25 years old?
You can, but apparently you're charged extra fees.
Oh, okay.
Many big companies don't allow any car rentals under 25 years of age. Drivers underneath that can now rent it, but like I said, there's extra fees.
Pride Resurrection can now rent a car without exorbitant fees. Wow, what a show! The best yet! We'll be back soon for more Pride action when we review Pride 22, Beasts from the East 2, which took place on September 29th, 2002. But just what is in store for us with that event? Starting off, we'll see Kevin Randleman taking on Michiyoshi Ohara. Guy Mesger takes on Yoshihisa Yamamoto. Alexander Otsuka's back to take on Anderson Silva. Akira Soji returns to take on Paulo Filho. Heath Herring returns to take on Yuri Kokrine. Andrei Kopylov, stern dad, makes his debut for Pride to take on a returning Mario Sperry. Quentin Rampage Jackson also returns to take on a returning Igor Volchanchkin. Wow.
Jesus, that's a hell of a fucking card.
Yeah. And in our main event, High-End Gracie returns to take on Shungo Oyama. Looks like a hell of a card, and I'm really looking forward to it. But until then, fight fans, we must bid you adieu. So, for the Colombian Good Vibe, woohoo! I am the most dangerous man alive today, wishing you goodbye, good luck, and we'll sniff you fucking jerks later.
Peace!